I was trafficking dope. I had $216,000 worth of cocaine on me, bro. And God just intervened.
Maurice Jackson is an entrepreneur and preacher who has devoted his life to God, striving to help others connect with their true purpose in life.
But I was destined since I was a kid. I'm from Oviedo, Florida, bro. Even when I was there, Rich, I wasn't there. You feel me? I grew up there and I never loved the taste of poverty. That's what grew me. That's how my life shifted and changed, bro. Like I never accept status quo.
Because of those character building kind of situations, does that raise a certain level of caution in raising your son?
For me, I just refuse to, on any level, let fear be the derivative of how I raise my sons. Culture don't really dictate to me, but if I take on the fear factor and start to shape my sons of how to comply with culture, you're never gonna lead it if you're just trying to participate. I'm not raising them for that. I'm raising cats who know how to win.
And so what was the transition that really made you put down the street life?
I've never been in handcuffs, ever. And I should be doing 35 years in prison for what I did. And I got pulled over with cocaine on the ground, Rich. I don't know why, bro. I'm not lucky. I wrote this thing the other day on my poem. I'm like, bro, I'm not lucky. It's all God.
Reese, welcome back to the Attractive Mindset. Instead of behind the scenes, now you in the hot seat.
Yes, sir.
Listen, so I know a little bit about you, but for everybody that this is their first time interacting with you, meeting you, tell them a little bit about who you are and what you currently have going on.
Ooh, that's a big question, bro. That's one of the hardest questions I answer every day of my life. They used to tell me I need to have an elevator speech ready at all times, but I don't do elevators no more. We do escalators. You feel me? So it's just different now. My name is Reese. A lot about myself, just to give you a little background. I spent 23 years in ministry. So my ministry is, I come from a ministerial background, and how I got into this business and this new space that leads me to where I'll end up telling you where I am is after graduating high school, wanted to go play football, got a basketball ride, didn't want to play basketball. I was a football player and I'm like, I ain't going to college. I'm gonna ruin my life. I'm about to have 4 baby mamas, et cetera, no discipline, right? So I ended up getting in theater. And this is 1998, just to date myself a little bit. Got in theater, bro, and not movie theater, like live theater, production, Broadway stuff, right? And so getting in that, I was just working behind the scenes. I'm hustling, I'm in the street, you know what I'm saying? I'm selling whatever, trying to keep some legal tax money on the table. And this dude saw me, and he was like, yo, bro, you come early, you leave late, you never complain, and everybody loves you. Like, come backstage and work. And so I remember one day, I was just doing like vacuuming and stuff, just taking care of the maintenance of the building. And then one day he told me that, he's like, come backstage. I got a show coming in this week. It's this Grammy award-winning blues artist named Robert Cray. Never heard of him. Black dude, got like 12 Grammys. We never heard of him because he's blues, right? But I went backstage and I was like, I worked a whole day with this guy, probably a 12, 13-hour day. And then the dude was like, yo, this man wrote you the best review. Like, this is before there was Yelp and all these things to review people. He wrote me a personal letter, like telling the theater how dope I was, how attentive I was, et cetera, et cetera. And so the guy was like, I remember, bro, Rich, and you'll appreciate this. I was making $135 a week prior to this moment. I made $581 that day. Just being a runner for these in a production aspect.
That's huge.
I went back, massive, bro. I'm 18, I'm 17. You know what I'm saying? I'm legit. I'm doing my thing, so I ain't really doing it for the money. But when I saw them layers, I'm like, yo, let's do this. And so I went to the dude the next week. I was like, yo, is that a one-time thing, or like, what can I do to do this all the time? He threw me this book. He goes, Lighting for Dummies. And he goes, read this. 6 months later, I was assistant stage manager. A year and a half later, I was on Broadway tours.
Wow.
And that's just to accelerate my story. So fast forwarding to that, I did a bunch of theater stuff, traveled the world, did off-Broadway shows, touring with international shows, went to Europe, did all this stuff, came back home and had this crazy encounter with Christ, bro. Like I was in the street, I was selling, I was doing all this crazy stuff, still making all this money, doing all this stuff. But I was never I never got caught, never got touched with it. But I was around it all times, and I got in this massive car accident. I was trafficking dope. I had $216,000 worth of cocaine on me, bro.
Wow.
And God just intervened, bro. And I know we don't like we're in a weird day. I'm not in a weird day. They're in a weird day. I say God met Reese Jackson on I-95 in Fayetteville, North Carolina, bro. Changed my life.
Wow.
Changed my life. Came back home. got my life straightened up, started getting in church, you know what I'm saying? Taking these theatrical things, taking these experiences that I experienced in the last 4 years of touring the world, living in New York, living in Germany, all these places. And I came back home and got planted in a local church, bro. And then from there, I still did the theater stuff. I still produced for a South African ballet company. This year is my 25th year of producing twice a year for this company.
Wow.
For 25 years straight. You feel me?
Wow.
So that led me to interacting. I play ball. So I have a lot of friends, in the league, baseball, whether it be baseball, football, NBA, whatever, NFL. And then, after all these years in ministry, everybody, Reese the good guy, you know what I'm saying? He's from the street life, but he got all the other stuff. When you go from street to ministry, like that's a radical extreme, right?
Absolutely.
And I was able to excel at both. I was a youth pastor for 11 years,
Wow.
18 years of associate pastor on a staff, and consistently at the same church I've been at since 2001. And meet all these guys. They're coming home. They're in their fourth, fifth year in the NFL now, in the league or basketball. And I see them drowning in life, bro. Like going through stuff. Like people, they from the block, you get a couple M's and now you got a whole bunch of unwanted, uninvited friends, right?
Yeah.
Everybody your day one now. And so I'm like, yo, bro, don't do that. That's weird. Hey, this is not a good move for you. Like this ain't a good look for your life. And so one of my friends, I don't really name drop, but one of my friends, everybody would know if I said his name. He was like, yo, bro, you help everybody. You need to create a business. And so coming into 2019, I have the production background. I'm doing a lot of videos, producing Christian TV shows, going on 187 nations. One of our shows were going out. Like it was an international massive show that I was executive producer of. This dude was like, yo, I want to do something in the podcast space. So I jump on, we create this dope podcast. I'm a part of it. His idea, I'm just technical director of it, executive producer. I'll drop the name. I Am Athlete Podcast.
Okay.
So 2020 happens. We doing some stuff with B Marsh. That's my bro. Fred Taylor, Channing Crowder, Reggie Wayne at the time, transitioned to Ocho Cinco. And I'm executive producer of that.
Wow.
And then from there, it just became like, boom. Everybody know if you were alive in 2020, which most people watching this probably were, you saw how that went. That went crazy. It was only us, the shop, and the smoke, right? We were the only things happening in Black spaces. And we took that locker room experience, these conversations that these guys have on a daily basis, we took that to the world. We opened the doors, and 2020 just happened to be the perfect storm where we didn't know what we were doing, right? And we did it, and it went crazy. And so from there, we have all kind of, we have things like this that derived, I think, because of the pioneer movement of like Brandon's vision and these guys just stepping in and all of us just kind of being ready at the same time, not having a clue what we had going on. Did that. From there, athletes everywhere started, reaching out to me. Yo, bro, I'm doing this. Yo, bro, I got this project. Yo, bro, I got this idea. What do you think? What do you think you think? My bro was like, yo, you need to create yourself a business. So I did that. And now the rest is history, bro. We were just talking early off cam. It's like, bro, we outside, we inside, we up, we down, we left, we right.
Yep.
And it's just been crazy ever since. So that's like that's the transition to where we are right now, bro. I moved, man. I got 5 businesses that we've created. Everything from production companies to podcast studios. We build them out. Everything from, I think I got like 6 YouTube shows that are happening right now that I executive produced.
Nice.
Produced ED and currently producing. Got 2 more getting ready to take off. Shooting one this week with A&E with one of my athletes in Tennessee. That's going to be in, it's called All in the Farmerly. He's a Black farmer. Go figure, you met him recently.
Yeah.
So we're doing that one this week, man. So I just keep it moving, bro. Real estate, everything from real estate to personal ventures, LED company. It's hard. It's hard to explain what I do.
You're
Most
a capitalist.
People, you feel me? Exactly. People ask me what I do every day, Rich, on different levels. And I've learned to navigate my talk by saying, hey, I do a little bit of things, but what do you do? And then from there, I'll tailor make how we can work together. If I can assist you or greater than that, if I can point you to somebody else that can help you. Because I'm in every room. I'm in every space.
And so, a way that we can somewhat simplify the question, because I get the same thing as well.
I feel you.
Is in life, what would you want to be known for?
That's right.
And in business, what would you want to be known for?
Yeah. The first one is very easy. In life, what I want to be known for, dude, I want when the casket closed, when people are standing around, my job's going to be so dope. It's going to be at the Hard Rock Stadium. You feel me? But when that moment happens, I want a couple things. And these are my greatest priorities. I want my 2 sons, biologically, and my adopted son, I want them to be like, yo, my dad was him. My wife obviously should be spoken for. that's the primary purpose of my existence. The second thing that parallels with that, I want people to say, yo, Reese was that guy that helped everybody. Like, he looked out, he was the plug. I got this on my necklace for real, because all I want to do is connect people to their purpose, bro. Whatever it is, whatever it looks like, however we get there, whatever your journey is, I just want to help people. And that's what I'm on the planet to do, bro. That's a God-given assignment. I've been that before I even knew what I was doing. And then now I just happen to, as you get older, you get wiser, you get a better connection, better, group of people, better network, as we would say. They bring it into focus for you, what you're really here to do. And in business, I guess that parallels. Business, I literally want to be able to give away $300 million in my lifetime. And that's a minimum scale.
300 million.
That used to be something that sounds so foolish, but as you keep moving and God puts you in spaces and places, bro, you start to meet people that. I met a gentleman last week in a meeting accidentally. I ended up speaking on a live panel. He was like, yeah, I just exited my fourth company for 240 million.
Wow.
I said, tell me about that. And he was like, yeah, it was 11 months. I acquired a company for $1.5 million, bought some EBITDA in it, put it together, acquired another company that bought this company. We merged two companies that was worth $20 million. And we sold it 11 months later to a massive company, a mogul, for 240. I said, wow. 11 months? He says, 11 months. How much did it cost you cash out of pocket? He was about 400,000. The rest was borrowed money and EBITDA. I was like, ugh. So that's the kind. So when you hear a young black dude from the hood, from the trap, say, I want to give away $300 million in my lifetime, and I'm talking about like actual cash, not leave you behind in life insurance policies and the whole life. I'm talking about actually transactional. What's the wire? I want to give away $300 million in my lifetime. It used to seem impossible. Now it's like, yo, this is just a difficult thing. It's far from impossible though.
Wow. No, that's huge. That goal right there is commendable, and it's necessary for the other reason that you're a black man, that younger generations of people and younger kids in our demographic will hear you say something like that. Facts. And immediately start thinking about it. Because I don't know how you grew up 100%. We'll get into that. But how I grew up, not a single time has anybody in my life that was a role model to me at that time said, I want to give away 300 million, let alone 1 million.
Yeah. If anything, it was to acquire.
Yeah.
And talking about upbringing, bro, my father's 72 years old, bro, from Dothan, Alabama, bro. Nobody even knows where that is. My dad he's a sibling of like 8 or 9, oldest of, and hardest working man I've ever seen in my life, bro. I got great mentors, and I got, spiritual fathers and mentors and big brothers and stuff like that. But my dad single-handedly has a 6th grade education. And he, crazy enough, growing up, like in my life the whole time, he and my mom have been together the whole time. I don't have that story of the broken home thing. But I watched him every day, bro. He worked concrete, like doing pools for everybody, driveways, patios, and things like that as a hustler and with the company. I watched him do that for 40 plus years of his life, bro. Leaving the house at 4:30 in the morning, returning back at 6:30 p.m. in bed by 7 o'clock just to do that again his whole life. And then I watched him when, life happens, he gets diagnosed with like a Lyme disease, some spinal thing from all the concrete from all those years, and not have a pension, not have the education or the information to put away bread. And having him coming home on Fridays, giving my mom the check, she's doing a little bit of shopping, whatever, trying to keep us afloat, being a single income family, right? And then having him at 50, 60 years old, working every day of his life, bro, and to have nothing and still being taken care of today by his son. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing that since I was 15 years old, since I was in the street hustling. So my whole goal in the upbringing thing was to transcend the mindset. It's not about working hard that puts you in a position to advance in life. Because my dad is the hardest working man I ever seen. To do that job, if you work with your hands in construction for 51 years, brother, and still have not a penny. And even when you work for like this Ford Motor Company or something, at the end of 30 years, you go to retirement, they give you a rollie, a little $5,000 rollie, say thank you for your time. That's trash to me. But to see my father go through what he went through, and then because of the lack of information, right? Not about hard work, it's about lack of information and application. I was like, no, I'm changing this. I'm changing this. So yeah, I don't work as hard as him, and I never will. That's not my goal in life. But my goal is to multiply and do something so that my children know, my sons know. I got boys, thank God, right? But my sons know that, listen, it ain't about working just hard, bro. It's about working smart. And then I believe heavily in the law of attraction. I believe heavily in the law of attraction. I believe that you reap what you sow. I'm a Bible guy, straight up. I don't make no bones about it, bro. I believe it's the law of reciprocals. As a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
Absolutely.
You feel me? I sow trash, I'm gonna reap dumpsters. You dig?
That's the name of this podcast, Attractive Mindset, the law of attraction.
And so not only that, just the attraction, like it's also about who you're connected to, right? It's attachment. You know what I'm saying? Some of the greatest stories, and again, I'm a Bible guy, so I always drop these things, but some of the greatest stories, and I'm writing a book, and I'll talk to you about that a little bit too, but some of the greatest stories in the Bible has, you know, people who work really, really hard and acquire through obedience or hard work and effort. And then the same parallel to them, there's people that didn't do a thing. They were just in the right position at the right time and had a willing heart to help that had an equal bag, right? They caught a net breaking boat sinking increase just because they were in the right position and they had the heart to help. So I'm raising my sons, you know, we hear a lot about generational wealth and, you know, transitional things like that. But I'm raising my sons to know that whatever you're called to do, don't let nobody stop you from doing that. Because I could stay in a box, and everybody has a box, some big, some small, some medium, that they're trying to put you in. Culture, be that family, be that dynamics, be that your skin color, whatever it is, bro. I don't fit in none. Zero. And that's one of my things that make me unique. It's like I'm comfortable in every room. A room like this where I'm talking to the homie, you feel me, where we can get down and converse. And then the next room over, I got all blue ties and you know what I'm saying, and white shirts in there. And I'm straight in there too. So that upbringing wise is like I was destined, and we can dive deeper into that if you want, but I was destined since I was a kid. I'm from Oviedo, Florida, bro.
Oviedo, Florida?
Nobody heard of it. One stoplight in the city.
Wow. So that's country.
Country, super country. It's growing up now. It's like 7 miles away from UCF, University of Central Florida. It's growing up now. But when I left in 1985, right, when I was a very small kid, it's the trap. It's the hood. It's called Johnson Hill, bro. I'm the only person you'll probably ever hear say that. And it is no superstars, no celebrities from there. Nothing. It's probably one of the brokest places, like with hood and, you know, cousins killing cousins and babies having babies, right? That's just what it was when I grew up there. But when I was there, Rich, I wasn't there. You feel me? I grew up there and I never loved the taste of poverty. And I'm broke. Until I'm 9 years old, I had a white friend named Sam Costello. We lived in the hood, bro. I used to heat up my bath, my water in a tin. We'll put some cold water in it, throw the hot water in it, dip down with your rag, wash off, dip down again, throw some more cool water on you, you know, rinse off. That's how I grew up. I went to my white friend's house one day. We got to spend the night over there. His mom said, "You boys go wash up for supper." This is 1986. I'm like, wash up, go in the bathroom, bro. I'm embarrassed. I don't know how to turn on the shower because we don't have one. Wow. You feel me? I go back home. I'm like, Sam, come help me out. I go back home and I'm mad at my parents. Like, yo, why we ain't got no shower? Ungrateful and complaining. My dad's like, you know, he have no answers for me. He's like, yo, bro, you better heat up that water. But then my mind shifted. I'm like, yo, showers are attainable? Oh yeah, we're gonna have a shower. So you feel me? That's what grew me. That's how my life shifted and changed, bro. Like I never accept status quo, ever, on no level. And I don't have a college degree. I don't have the education to do what I'm doing, bro. I'm just called. And I'm relentless about not staying ignorant. And if you're living in 2024, you cannot do something. It's because you don't want to. It's not because you can, it's because you don't want to. It's free information all day. You give game out every day. You follow this man's channel, bruh, your life will change. Just mindset, period. You feel me? And there's a billion of us now. Yeah. So that's the way I live my life, bro. I don't believe in limitations. I believe the only limitation anybody has is your willingness to comply with what you believe in yourself, what you believe in your faith, wherever that triggers you. You know what I'm saying? Like your mindset is the only limitation you actually have on the planet.
I absolutely agree with that. And, you know, that makes me think of something that I often bring up is because of those character building kind of situations. Yeah. Does that raise a certain level of, what's the word that I want to use? Not fear necessarily, but a certain level of caution and raising your sons, because you're giving them what you didn't have, but it's what you didn't have that helped mold you to be who you are right now. Yeah. And with the way of what we're subjected to in society, your sons are likely way more around social media and school and all of that stuff versus you being there to constantly, you know, put that mindset in them, and it becomes systematic to where, well, social media has this or this has this, you know, BBL culture has made regular bodied women feel the necessity to do these things. And it's a psychological thing. And so, you know, what frame of mind does that put you in when it comes to your sons?
Well, what's not, I'll tell you more so what's not going to happen. What's not going to happen is me living a fear-based reality ever. Like, I think one of the craziest attacks on Black folks ever in this country or historically was George Floyd. And I think it came from multiple places. And I think it was self-imposed. It made us aware. It brought us to the forefront. It put us behind microphones. But what it did was impose more fear in a lot of ways, because they showed you who you could be if you were just this person, right? So what I did was, this is documented footage. You can go back, look at I Am Athlete. I went on the podcast at that time talking about faith issues and racial issues. And I said the most dangerous thing a Black man can say, but here's the deal, I'll die for what I believe in. I said, I'm a Black man that's not raising just Black children. I'm raising people, young people that happen to be Black, that are here to affect this world economically, socially, in all of these different manners. And and the reason, let me give you the backstory why I said that. Because George Floyd made everybody like racially aware, right? They've been killing us. They've been lynching us. We've had bad credit. They've been redlining, all these things historically. And that's been happening. And that will continue to happen on certain levels, right? But what happened to me was my father, again, getting back to him, a lot of stuff that happened, we derived from our parents, right? The way we think now derived from our parents. My dad, from Dothan, Alabama, in the 60s, talking about 66, 67, 64, 8, right through that time, 64 through 68, dating this young lady that happened to be white. Her brothers come, they dating for a few months, brothers come, 4 white boys come with pistols, and they get her out of the car and shooting at him in the car. My dad has this encounter who got 7 bigger brothers, bro. Like 7 big brothers, they're younger than him, but they bought that life, right? They owned 181 acres of land in Alabama. They weren't just some regular dudes. They worked and built and farmed the land, et cetera, et cetera. My father handles business, whatever they had to do, comes to Oviedo, meets my mom, establishes, has me. Bro, until I'm 9 years old, somebody had to tell me that Uncle Tex was not my uncle biologically. You know, Uncle Tex was white, full-blown redneck. Him and my dad were like this. Uncle Tex, Uncle Mike, these are white boys that my father befriended after 4 white boys tried to take his life for simply being Black, dating their sister who she was in love with my pops. You feel me? Now here's the deal. My dad, until I was 9 years old, never let me ever look at Uncle Mike, Uncle Tex like they were white. What that told me was my dad could have become the biggest racist bigot, bro. Like, he could have become the biggest racist person ever. Cause I don't know about you, but I had guns pointed at me, but it was people who looked like me that pointed at me. And I'm not defending either way. I don't care, because right is right, wrong is wrong. However, my point is, my dad did not raise his biological sons, right, to be racist because of his previous experience. So getting back to the question that you asked me, I refuse to let a fear-based reality cause me to shape my sons in any kind of way financially, because you and I both know I don't know how you was raised, but close my door in the summertime. You trying to air condition the whole neighborhood? Turn off the light when you leave the room. That's poverty talk. It was survival talk for them, because they were just getting to a place where they paying bills, getting off welfare, et cetera, et cetera. But for me to be speaking like that, I have to watch myself now. Me speaking like that now, like I don't live in that reality. And when I do that, that's telling my sons, yeah, we can put it, you can be like, oh, telling your sons to be financially responsible, don't be wasteful, et cetera, et cetera. But who cares about a light bill? I got millionaire friends are worth 500 million, $500 million. They don't talk like that. And they're not just white, they're Black. They don't speak that language, bro, because they come from that place and they hated it. So what you hate or what you tolerate will never exit your life. I've refused to speak fear over my kids financially, emotionally, right? And yeah, I don't live in their 2024 culture of social media. And I'm 45 years old, bro, next month. You can't tell me how I dress how I want to dress. I've been dressing this way, right? Culture don't really dictate to me. But if I take on the fear factor and start to shape my sons of how to comply with culture, you're never going to lead it if you're just trying to participate. I don't want participation trophies. I'm not raising them for that. I'm raising cats who know how to win. You feel me? And sometimes winning takes standing on your own 2 feet, bro, and just being good with you. Winning means, hey, there's a crowd when I had everything. I wrote a rap one time, long time ago. I was like, I only fly now with the people I once walked with. Straight up. Like if you want to walk with me through an idea, through, hey, bro, let's put out a dream board. Let's put out a vision board. But you don't got time for that, but you want to ride in the jet with me in a PJ? Nah, bro, you're not good for it. Unless you paying. You feel me? So it's a mindset, bro. And for me, I just refuse to, on any level, let fear be the derivative of how I raise my sons. Because we can, bro, if me and you just met each other, somebody walking here, I'm the type of dude, they'd be like walking here and some dude come give you an attitude, we in the parking lot, somebody pulling up on you, I'm not just gonna be like, all right, Rich, I don't know how you built, but I'm like, yo, you good? Who bro is? Like what the problem is? So I can take on your offense having nothing to do with the backstory just because of my association with you, right? Vice versa. Or somebody come in here and give you $1 million and be like, yo, here's $1 million, bro. I want to bless you and continue to, you know what I'm saying? See this thing go forth, da, 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 da. That same brother, you can be like, yo, this my man Reese. Reese doing this, da, da. He could drop me $1 million too. The offense is transferable, but so is the blessing. I'd rather transfer the blessing. I'd rather transfer the mindset that says, bro, you can do all things. You feel me? I'd rather transfer the mindset that says, bro, greater is he that's in you than anything that you're going to face. That's the fight that we're in, like giving our kids healthy, right information, not just survival information. Cause we're not living in that day, bro. We're not living in that day. When you've traveled abroad, I just came back from overseas, bro, you see people overseas living with less than, but bigger smiles than us who have so much. And we're acting like those are just the 50s and 60s. No, that's happening in 2024 real time. It's just, I refuse to let the fear, mindset control my life, bro. And I ain't giving that to my kids. So things I've wrestled with that was given to me, I'm making sure it stops with me, bro. And that's just, I'm intentional about that. 100%. You teach your kids responsibility. You teach, I'm going through stuff. I don't not show my kids what I'm going through. Sometimes they'll hear me on the phone talking business. Sometimes, what I do when I deal with athletes and management companies and people trying to screw us over, we ain't having that. Like we standing on business for real. Got to. At the same time, they're not gonna see me out of character displaying fear, displaying like, if this don't happen, then we're over. No, you ain't my source. God's my source, brother. You feel me? So you learn just what you're going to reproduce in your generation. And every one of us, whether you have kids or family or not, you're reproducing something. That's why we got seed, right? Our words are seeds. Our vision is seed. What we put our hand to, that's seed. It's going to reproduce something. You know what I'm saying? If I reach out to do like that, you're going to extend your hand to give me dap. I sowed a seed, you reciprocate it. That's a law. It doesn't care who you are, black, white, fat, skinny, short, small. It don't matter. I'm choosing to be intentional about the seeds that I sow. And being responsible. I want my kids to be, as we speak about family, I don't want them to be like, silver spooners, but why not? That's why they make them. I'd rather for them to be gold spooners, to be honest with you. You understand? But as long as I'm injecting them, a healthy mindset, a healthy identity, right? To help people, to bless people. Why is the problem? There's no problem with that. Only poor people talk about rich people. Rich people don't talk about rich people. Rich people talk about ideas of what they can do together. Poor people hate. You understand? And that's poor is not talking about finances. It's talking about mentally. Like, where's your mindset, bro? You're poor in mindset because you can't see past your current circumstances. That's how I look at it, brother.
Nah, that's wow. You never had it broken down in that kind of context, and it makes sense. Yeah, it 100% makes sense. And so, with you having that mindset, how'd you meet your wife?
At church, bro. At church, I was in a whole nother situation.
I figured it was at church.
But man, when I came to church, bro, I was in a situation. I was engaged to somebody else and moving in a different kind of direction, bro. And I was just, we all as men, as people, as human beings, will find ourselves in a position where we're desperate, where only God can fill the void. And I was in that. I was like, bro, I got bread. I'm trapping. And I'm empty. I'm in the clubs, bro. I'm in the strip club. I'm selling this. I'm moving that. I'm empty, bro. And so I found myself through a random encounter and being invited to a church through a person I've known for 10 plus years. I'm like, nigga, you ain't never been to church, bro. You ain't talking about God, Jesus, boy. You sell what I sell. You do what I'm doing. He's like, bro, we need to go to church. So we go down to South Beach. We turn up. We doing all kind of debauchery. And the very next day, bro, I was gone. and he comes to the crib. We got home at 5:30 in the morning. He come to my crib and he's like, bro, we got to go to church. So I'm drunk going to church. I remember sitting in this church, bro. And I'm like, I'm thinking on the way there, somebody telling me how far in hell I'm going today, bro. Cause I'm drunk. I reek of alcohol. I just brushed my teeth, throwing some, you know what I'm saying, Altoids, and we keep it popping. But I walked into church, brother. And I remember feeling like a peace that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? People who, if you wrong, you know you're wrong. You don't need nobody to tell you that. You need somebody to tell you how to get right when you're wrong. And this guy was just, this pastor at the time, who's still my pastor now, my spiritual father, bro, he was just talking about the love of God and how God can correct all things and all the above. But that happened. I went away. From that moment, I felt good. Still trapping, still doing whatever. And 8 months later, I ended up coming back to that church. And I was like, this time I was like, first time I was coming to inquire. The second time I was coming in desperation. I'm like, bro, this is the only place in my life where I could find peace. Everybody around me in my pockets. Everybody around me I pay. Everybody around me trying to get something from me. The only place I remember feeling peace was prior to 8 months ago. And I walked into church, bro, and I was like, I was in the middle of a torment, like mental torment, like no escape, no peace. I mean, I don't know if anybody watching or yourself ever been through that, but when you're a military guy, you've had foxhole moments. I don't care what part, whether it's at basics or in the field, you've had moments where you're like, yeah, it's I need some divine intervention in this moment. And so I was in that moment. I walked in the doors, boom, my wife was on stage singing. She happened to be home visiting from college just that specific weekend, and then left the very next weekend to go back and then do the graduation thing. And so I saw her, and I remember, and I don't recommend this. Everybody watching, don't do this. This is grade A cringy, my boy. I remember her voice sounding like my voice saying, that's the one I prepared for you. I'm like, bro, stop tripping. I got this fiance up here at the road. I got 3 shorties down here. I got this, that situation. And here go another, and I'm trying to come to church. I'm like, bro, you tweaking. So I went, did my thing. Only person, to give my life to Christ that day. I stood up in a room in front of 800 people. Pastor turned me around. He was like, yo, looking at me in the eyes. He was like, yo, you different. Like, God's got his hand on your life. Like, you're going to do some different stuff. And he turned me around before the church. He goes, yo, don't ever let this young man feel like he's alone. He's special. God's going to use him. And I thought this was a great speech because I'm in theater. I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like, bruh is on his A game. I never heard him say that to any other individual. And I've been there for 24 years. Wow. I've only missed probably 10, 11 Sundays in 24 years because I'm involved. But she was on stage and I walked out and I looked over again. I saw her and I'm like, nah, shorty beautiful. Like, all these rooms full of somebody had to slide. Like, why would I be? So I dipped, she dipped. I kept coming to church. I live in New York. I was just coming to Florida. Weekend, do my thing, jump off, boom, boom, boom. And I went back to New York, came back a short time after. She was back from college. And then I was like, I ain't talking to nobody, no girls in church, bro. I don't need these problems. Like I'm trying to seek God, bro. And then one day she just came off the stage real fast. I used to clear it right at the church, bro. Like I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to talk to church people. I'm charismatic. People gonna like me. I don't want to be in this, you know what I'm saying, selling deacons at Yayo. I don't want to do it. You feel me? Like I'm in that life. Bro, one day she caught me. She jumped off stage real quick, ran around. She was like, yo, I see you worshiping God. Like, we're doing this young adult thing. We just starting it. I just came home from college. Like, we got this class that starts tonight. Can you please come? Like, you look dope. Like, you look young. I was 21. And I was flying out at 2:30 to get back to New York because I live in New York. And I was working up there. I was like, class what time? 6. I was like, I bet. Changed the flight. Did the class. And I remember thinking to myself, bro, like God is not to get me. He's not out to get me, bro. He's out to gather me. Collect the pieces of my life, the fragments that are so broken and abandoned and messed up. And I need a friend to help me with this process. And I don't know about you, but every dude does better with girls around. And he knew who to send, and she was dope and just getting back home. So yeah, I met her there. Just celebrated 20 years. I don't know when this is airing, but June 5th. Wow. Just came back. Yeah. We celebrated 20 strong, dog. And it feels like yesterday, bro. We had a great time just recalibrating the system. And so family's big time for us, man. And it always has been. And along the journey, we've always tried to not be a perfect marriage, but to be a model marriage. I think there's so few of those. I didn't have a model marriage, and my mom and dad, I don't know how I even got here. They together, but they don't sleep together. Yeah. My dad go to bed early. My mom go to bed at 3 a.m. when he's waking up for work. So I don't know how that works, but I've always wanted to, demonstrate a model marriage of what a successful marriage could look like. And so me and Shorty, we just grinding, getting it together as a team, as a partnership. is everything, bro.
No, I love that. And everything about that story, you know, going through those moments, having somebody to spend that time with, that's super pivotal.
Sure.
And in somebody's life. And so what was the transition that really made you put down the street life? What defining moment was that?
I mean, you could be in it and not of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I go back to Oviedo, bro, 1986. All my cousins are trappers, my families, everybody in the dope gang. You know how it is, bro. A trap is a trap, no matter which city it's in. But I was always in it, around it, but I was never of it. Never meaning I never belonged to it, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can get good at something and that's a skill. It ain't a lifestyle, right? And so what made me put it down was, bro, I wanted the exit route, and I was too fortunate. I've seen so many of my boys, like, crazy enough, testimony, right? I'm 45 next month, July 30th. I've never been in handcuffs, ever. And I should be doing 35 years in prison for what I did. And I got pulled over with cocaine on the ground, Rich. So you, at some point, you either really, really dumb, or you're really, really arrogant, right? Or God really, really good. Like, there's a different plan for your life. And I say that, people get mad at me. Like, bro, I did the same thing you did. I don't know why I didn't get caught. It ain't me. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I started so many people to working and doing stuff that's doing 17 years. One of my boys just got out after 18 years of being in jail. I passed him his first blunt. And I don't know why, bro. I'm not lucky. I wrote this thing the other day on my poll. I'm like, bro, I'm not lucky. It's all God. And then people get attitude with God, like, well, why you didn't? I don't know. Can't tell you. All I know is I'm not gonna waste the moment. I'm not gonna refute it. So what the transition was easy, because I was always in it but never of it, bro. I always wanted more. I always knew that there was more. Everything was just about it was a segue for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get this, get on, and then I'm gonna do this with it. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know what I was doing. I just know that I didn't know, and a lot of people can attest to this watching. You don't necessarily know what you're called to do, but you know what you're not called to do. You feel me? So I don't know if I'm gonna be a mechanic, but I hate flying, so I'm not gonna be working on planes. You know what I'm saying? Nothing about flying makes that, you know what I'm saying? So in the navigational system of life, bro, how we navigate, especially from urban Black and brown communities where there's not a whole bunch of information to teach us how to write goals, how to have a vision, how to do these things. There's not a lot of great demonstrative leadership, people who lead by demonstration, right? So my thing is, and to my transition into my adulthood, I never knew what I wanted to do, but I just knew what I didn't want to do. So when you no's are the best yeses sometimes, Rich. You feel me? Like, get your no in your spirit. Like, know what you're not gonna do, bro. I'm not gonna be a baby daddy, bro. I'm not gonna be doing this, bro. I'm not gonna have 17. You know what I'm saying? And then that right there that's giving guidance to your future. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but what I'm not gonna do is this. So when you eradicate, I'll say it like this for the sake of simplicity. When you eradicate what you're willing to not compromise on, then you're already closer to your future than you imagine you are. You see what I'm saying? And so we don't
gems.
You know what I'm saying? When you don't know what you're going to do, I don't think, bro, I talk to 45, 50, 60-year-old guys, mentors and peers, and you could be 60 years old and still don't know what you're on the planet for, which is horrible. Miles Monroe, great guy, great author, leader, etc. You know, passed away a couple years ago, but he dropped some gems in my spirit. He goes, the saddest person on the planet is not the person that doesn't have money, doesn't have riches, the saddest person that's on the planet is they've been given the allotment of 40, 50, 60 years on the planet and you don't know why. Find out why. And how you found out why you're here sometimes is by looking at the roadmap of which roads you're not gonna go down. You feel me? I ain't taking no lefts because these lefts are not for me. I might participate, might look at them, I might wave at them, but these ain't my lefts. So I tell youngsters all the time, like, you know, being in youth ministry and things like that, and just talking to people, young athletes, which is now my core audience of my life. I'm like, bro, find out what you're not willing to do. And then we'll find out what you're called to do. Let's get the no established.
That's super powerful, you know, and I feel like that spoke to me, you know, that I never articulated it in that kind of way, but I got kicked out at 16. I was homeless for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And even when you mentioned, you know, the water and having to boil it and then take a shower and all of that stuff, like I was living in like a trap house basically. And they cut the water off.
Yeah.
And that's what we had to do in New York. We had winter.
Oh boy.
And so we had to heat the water
I don't know
up.
those problems.
We fortunately still had to, we had the gas stove. So we were able to turn that on, heat up some water and take showers in that kind of way.
Yeah.
And just living that life and is different. And
for real,
I knew the routes of life that I didn't want to take.
Mm-hmm.
I did things that I definitely didn't want to do back then. I got myself into situations where I got gang involved and I was in the wrong spot at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And all I could keep telling myself was, I know I don't like this. Mm-hmm. I was in it, but I wasn't of it, just like you said. Right. And it became a mantra for me that I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do this.
That's it.
And that's what got me out of the hood. When people ask me like, yo, how'd you get out? How'd you maneuver? How'd you grow? And I said, I started going through the things in my life that I didn't want or I didn't like. Yeah. My dad, I have a way better connection with him now. Yeah. But on his side of the family, I have 17 brothers and sisters. Sheesh. Different moms.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't like that.
You island?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you know how I put that together? Because it's normal. Mm-hmm. But it's not normal for you though. Mm-hmm. You feel me? You refuse.
Yeah. I said, I don't like that. And so I've never cheated in any of my relationships. I've never done anything like that. And I'm like, because I don't want to emulate that portion of him. And then there's certain things that my mom did, like when she left me in New York and then moved to Atlanta. I said, I would never do that to my kids. I don't have kids yet, but I'm like, I would never do that to my kids. I would never want to be of that hue. I would never want to be of that way. Right. And so even with like my company members and everything, I'll have people from the outside come in, oh, you need to fire this person or you need to let this person go. And I'll be like, I've only known them for a couple of years. I can't expect somebody or myself. I'm not powerful enough yet. I'm gaining that power. You know, God has given me the ability to mold my environment, but I've only been working with them for 2-3 years. And it's frustrating. They're getting some things messed up, but you have society that have been teaching them how to do things the damn near incorrect way or the unpolished way for 10 years, 15 years. I said, so you want me to just abandon this person in 2 to 3 because they don't know that this isn't it yet.
Right.
But if I constantly subject them to a different lifestyle, to the lifestyle that, hey, this is for the betterment of the community and building a community, they've changed. And some of those people have changed. And they're like, oh, wait, hold on. That person did it? And I was like, yeah, the one that you wanted me to get rid of a couple years ago. Yeah, that person did it.
But you see vision though. Like, so you, without, in so many words, the way I translate what you're saying is that, bro, sight sees to the wall, vision sees beyond the wall. Like you look at people, not as just products that can produce things, which we are and we can, but people, I think you're more like God when you move with compassion. You know what I'm saying? And I think compassion anything can be deceived and manipulated. So you have to be careful on all that. That's why you have to be, I wouldn't say grounded, but that's why you have to be intentional about like your prayer life. I don't care who you are, bro. Like you have to take those moments of solitude where you're just connecting with the Lord, because He's going to tell you, He can tell me what about you, things that you'll never tell me about yourself. But I can always pinpoint where I need to be and where I'm going to fall in your life, in our relationship, and we grow in friendship or whatever and vibe. I can always know because the Lord knows you better than I know you. He knows you better than you know you, right? But and not to be super religious, but it's just truth. When you live your life in such a way where you can be cutthroat and dry, you can be about your bag only. Be careful with people who are just about their bag only. I don't hate the bags. I love them. I think bags are a part of life. I think they reveal, where your heart is really. At the same time, the bag it's a manipulator. It'll deceive you, bro. And I love like the culture that we're in, because I get to speak on a lot of podcasts to these kind of situations. And it's just like, bro, once you have it, you realize it was not the point. The journey was the point. Who you met was the point. You asked me earlier about, in the end of it all, what do I want to accomplish, bro? I want the journey to come. I want the journey to see the destination from the conception of the journey. I'm not trying to screw you over. I'm gonna work with you, bro. I'm gonna sacrifice with you. I'm gonna sow with you. I want to reap with you though. I'm not shy about that. I want to reap with you. Like we're doing business. You know, I'm the type of dude, Rich, and I could see this in your nature too, is like we do a business 50-50 joint venture. We commit to that. We shake on that. We sign on that, whatever. You know, I come up with, you know, my 50%, you come up with your 50%. A month or so later, I can't do my full 50. I do my 25. You come in, you're the kind of guy, a good-natured person, a God-natured person comes in and goes, yeah, I got you. I'm gonna cover you. And then when it's time to reap, you're not gonna be like, I don't know about you, but I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I'm only giving you, I'm taking 75, you getting 25 because you couldn't cover. Nah, bro, we shook on 50-50. That's a covenant, right? Mm-hmm. That's how I move. That's how God moves. That's how I feel like when you do that, you're never gonna have lack. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You always gonna reap the best in people. Like you and I have people that work with us, alongside us. Nobody works for me. I work for God. I work with God, right? They're employed by me. Yeah, we got to stroke that check. We got to push that wire through. Mm-hmm. At the same time, bro, it's about vision and being connected. And I feel like when there's people with that mindset, when you're not, for lack of a better term, trying to slave drive, but you're partnering in life as God is partnering with you with vision, with experience, with relationships, and being rich in so many different areas, not just monetarily, financially. Mm-hmm. Bro, the journey is everything. Who you bring with you is everything. And unfortunately, you can't bring everybody because everybody's mindset is not going to let you bring them. Some people going to tell you not to bring them early in the vision of what we're trying to get off the ground. Some people going to ride with you to the end and tap out. That's just a part of life. Mm-hmm. But it's how you respond and how you react and how you lead those people. Like you just said, like you persevered through 2 years later and now somebody becomes what you always knew they could become when other people said they didn't see it. They told you to let them go. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's why you got to have that tunnel vision and really go after what you believe. Because, I mean, we could talk about this, bro, but belief is everything.
Belief is everything. And that's how I had it on the board. I erased it now, but it's how I teach even my mentees to start their structure. Mm-hmm. I said, what's the number one thing you need to begin a business? Yeah. And they start throwing out all these other ideas. Oh, you need this, you need LLC, you need bank account, you need money, you need product. I said, nah. I said, you need belief.
You gotta believe in it.
You gotta believe. And you have to have other people believe. Sure. Because how does a Ponzi scheme work? Yeah. I said, how have people made millions of dollars off of Ponzi schemes? Right. I said, because they got people to believe.
Yeah. Manipulators, same thing. The devil uses the same thing that God told you to be using. Mm-hmm. Belief system, faith, right? Mm-hmm. I see this and I got a question for you. When you first jumped out the gate, and I know you got a military background, et cetera, we talked off cam. When you first jumped out the gate into business, right? Mm-hmm. What was that turning point for you? What was that like? Like what made you go business instead of getting a job? I'm sure you got an MOS that trained you for a specific job. What made you go this route?
I was exposed to business first.
Okay.
Weirdly as it sounds, I was exposed to business first. You know, if it's not too complicated, I might have y'all pop it up on the screen. And this is why I tell people, longevity, consistency, longevity. And my very, very, very first business with Future Legends International. And I put it that way because it was FLI. I was fly. Mm-hmm, I was one of the flyest in the room. I always used to say that, yo, I'm mad fly. And so I needed to make that.
I'm mad you don't wear your hats on the pod. I'm just saying.
I do sometimes.
Why you sometimes. I brought a hat because I thought you, never mind.
I do
you
sometimes.
Got me out here like this. But yeah, fly. Yeah,
I said, yo, I'm mad fly. But it was Amway.
Okay.
And so it was network marketing. And this is the first time somebody else had ever spoken to me like damn near human. Mm-hmm. You know, I was homeless at the time and didn't even work one of the jobs. I was in the mall getting the free samples, eating those, getting the free tickets from Buffalo Wild Wings because you used to have you used to get the free fry basket thing from them. And so I used to collect those and then they would see us all the time, be like, bro, you can't keep collecting these. And I was like, but you're giving them out to random people. You may as well, give it to me. And I'm going to come back. I said, this is my sustainability for the food.
Wow.
And so I would go to the food court, have my little water cup there, hit the machine, get the water cups. And I had free refills on that. And then I would have the fries. And that would, at the very least, would be my meal minimum. And I'd be like, okay, cool. I have food, sustainable food, that and ramen.
What age was that?
That was 2010 to 2011.
That was pre or post military?
That was pre.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pre. And so I met them in the mall, Bayshore Mall, which was in Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in the food court. I was sitting there eating my fries. And some guy named James Woods, shout out to James Woods. He still watches my page and stuff. He came up to me and he was like, hey, are you keeping your options open to making some extra money? I was like, me? And he was like, yeah, you. He's like, there's only two of us here talking.
Right.
I was like, yeah, I am. And so he was like, all right, well, I got an opportunity for you. You can own your own business. It only costs this amount of money. And I said, huh? I could own a business?
Mm-hmm.
And I was confused at what he was saying because I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, bro, there's a way bigger world than what you got going on here.
That's right.
And he was like, it only costs you $500 or something to become an IPO or IBO, independent business owner.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I got to just sell these products and I don't have to buy the products? He's like, no, you sell them and you get a return on them. And they're everyday products that people got to use anyway. Right. Toothpaste, whatever.
Amway.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And he was like, we got some meetings coming up, but you're gonna have to put a suit on. I was like, I don't have a suit. And he was like, okay, I got an old suit for you. So I do that. And then eventually he finds out. I'm like, yo, I don't have lights on at my crib.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have hot water. I don't have none of that. This man that I had known for maybe like 2 weeks at this point, 3 weeks at this point, said, come stay at my crib. He said, come stay at my crib. I went over there and it was him and his girl at the time named Becca. Mm. Becca did accounting. You know, real quick segue, fast forward. Becca is my accountant now.
Sheesh.
And she goes absolutely crazy. But, you know, in meeting him in that situation, he also gamed. And he played World of Warcraft and all of those stuff. And I was so immersed in the hood environment. Like when I would go to the mall, it would be to get the free samples and stuff and like see what I could steal out of there to try to sell or do whatever. And he was like, yo, there's another life. And then he presented the network marketing stuff to me. He presented all of this stuff to me. He helped me get my first LLC type stuff. He helped me get my first suit. He was like, man, you got to take a picture, put it on Facebook. I have that picture still on Facebook, me in a little suit. He was like, we're going to go to this convention in Michigan. We're going to go to this convention in, I don't even know what the other state was. And when I got there, stadium filled with people that have suits on, that's winning in some kind of way. And I had other people tell me, because he kept it real with me. He was like, man, people will call this a pyramid scheme. People will call this, people call this that. And to me, I'm like, somebody's on that stage making millions off of this. Yeah. There's people on that stage winning. I can win too.
That's right.
And he planted that seed in me. And ever since then, that business seed has always been planted in me, even though I was in that circumstance. And I said, okay, hold on. And so I stopped doing the dumb street shit that I did with somebody who was like my older brother. You know, I used to hold his gun in my bag and he was the one who taught me how to shoot. And this is the old school guns where you had to put the rubber band on the hammer so it don't go off. There was no safeties. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It was that kind of vibe. And yo, like all of them, he's in jail still now. Like the other 4 people used to roll with, 3 of them are dead. And I don't even know where the other one is. And probably in jail. And it's like that reality started to switch for me. And then my other friend reached out and was like, yo, you're a smart kid. I got expelled out of high school in 11th grade for fighting. That's what ultimately led to me getting kicked out because my mom didn't know what to do with me anymore. Right. She was also super religious, 7-day Adventist. And she was like, man, this is not for us. She had my twin sisters with my stepfather. And she was like, we're going to go start a new life in Atlanta. You need to figure out what you're going to do. And me trying to be big bravado back then, I said, I'll figure it out. Yeah. 16. And I dealt with a world of pain, but that world of pain taught me what I didn't like, what I didn't want to ever go through again, and how to really recoup from that. And so I said, hey, do I get a bonus? And he was like, yeah, we could try to get you a bonus. I got a $3,000 bonus. Join the Marine Corps.
Boom.
Never heard of the military before then. Never anything. Did an express sign up. I was like, hey man, it's about to hit winter again. Like I can't do this.
Go somewhere.
Yeah, I said I can't do this again. It is like and so the express shipped me out. Come that December, we were supposed to go back home for Christmas. I finished boot camp, enrolled into tank school. He died.
Oh wow.
That friend definitely died, and he died back home. And it was on a motorcycle accident. And he got to the hospital and his injuries overcame him. And you know, me being there, I'm like, bro, I was supposed to go through the military with him. This was his dream. I didn't really want to do this, but I wanted a way out.
Yeah.
And I just started remembering things that he talked about all the time. And like, he was passionate about it. That's what he wanted to do. He volunteered to do that. I didn't volunteer to join the military. I joined it because it was a means to an end.
And
it was
coming.
Yeah, it was a way for me to get out.
Jack Frost was
and
coming.
then he was like, they could cover your school. They could do this. You only have to do 4 years. And so I was like, damn, only 4 years? I said, well, I've been living this way for 2 years of my life. And so if it's better than that, I get a free crib. I get 3 free meals a day. I get this and that. I said, okay, I'll do it. Dang. And so I did it. And after that had happened, I was like, you know, I'm going to do it for him now as well. I said, this is what he wanted to do. Let me take it more serious. And so I started reading books. I started going through the manual, reading it back and forth. I became super proficient at my stuff. Ended up shooting company top shot for the entire battalion. I got my name on the plaque in the office, gunner. And for my military people that's gonna be watching this, y'all already know what's up.
Yeah.
You know, top shot out this thing, this yeah. And you know, just really started really embodying it and understanding the culture, understanding the world. You know, that's the first time I had left the country to go on deployment. We went to Bahrain and Kuwait, and just the experiences over there, civil war, cop cars being set on fire, all type of everything going on, like. And the discrimination, you know, getting to go to the city part, Manama. And it's the thing that the media itself portrays about these countries.
Not true.
When you go over there, it is not true at all.
It's a different world, bro.
I got a chance to go to the actual mosque and understand how they go about everything. And they were like, bro, everybody comes to the same temple, whether you have $1 billion, whether you have $1,
right? It
doesn't matter. We all kneel on the ground. We put our head to the dirt because that's where we came from. And that's how we sustain ourselves at the end of the day. And we pray to God. He said, God is the only one. He said, no matter what we get in life, how we attain it in life, we got to understand that this is where it's at. And in me doing that in that culture changed my entire life. Cause I was like, yo, the combination of people in that room, the combination of everything in that room, deployment. And then you have some of my military guys that were all gung-ho, like, you know, fuck these people and they got this going on and whatever. You know, don't get me wrong, Taliban was bad.
Oh, yeah.
But the town people weren't.
That's right.
And that's what created prejudice. And that's what created the discrimination. And I can only relate it to our community, the Black community. Because when I grew up in New York, it was a melting pot. There you go. So I grew up with white boys. I grew up with Hispanic people, and all of us, we was the same. I never really looked at it like, yo, this is a white boy that do this. Right. It was when I got to the military that I started to see prejudices. Racisms and all of that stuff. I'm like, yo, what are y'all on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. But we used to take in the trains, the buses, all of that with everybody. Yeah. And everybody was just everybody. Some people look nice in their suit. Some people sleep on the train. And nobody was affected by that, you know, me growing up. And so the trajectory of life in that way has just been the way of how I got into business today. Cause on my last deployment, I said, man, I don't have any tangible skills leaving here. I said, I got to do something or else I'm gonna go right back out. Cause the way for me to get the bonus was join a combat MOS. And so I joined as a tank crewman in 1812. And all I did there was blow stuff up, shoot stuff. I can't come out into regular life blowing stuff up and shooting stuff. I didn't have a tangible skill. And so I ended up reading 42 books. on my last deployment. And when I got out, I never went back into a 9-to-5 situation or anything. I said, okay, cool. I'm going to learn how to game. Game was how I grounded myself. One of my best friends, who I'm the godfather for his son right now, Naeem, who also stayed in the house with us where we had no electricity, no water, anything like that. The way he escaped reality, which was his kind of trauma response to it, was he got into games. Love Spider-Man, love Pokemon, love Yu-Gi-Oh, love all of that stuff. And even though surrounded by the harsh realities of just life, this man would game like nothing was happening. Game.
Escape.
And I started gaming with him. I was like, if it works for him, maybe it worked for me.
Yeah. And
I got really good at Call of Duty. I got really good at League of Legends, and I started getting semi-pro sponsorships for that. I got my partnership on Twitch. I started streaming. I started making money off of Twitch full time.
That's crazy.
And then used that to segue into creating business. Made a business, my first business in the gaming industry, because I met these two kids that were super young age, and they had basically like an idea to create a website, which is like a boosting website, but they're minors and I have kids. I saved the amount of money that I had from deployment at that time, and I got out. And I stayed with, that's how I made it to Florida. It was this chick that I had met. And I was like, I don't have any place to go. She's like, come live with me in Florida.
Chicks
was like,
always do that in Florida.
Said, hey, cool, let's do it. And so, hey, I made it to Florida.
Shouts out to Florida chicks that like to shack up.
Right? She's an Armenian chick, and she had a really good job, worked at a hospital, all of that stuff, super bougie, Kim Kardashian to the T.
Yeah.
And she took care of everything at first. And it gave me time to just do that type of stuff. And I said, hey, I'll give you the money. And they're like, what? You give them what? And I said, yeah, I'll give them the money. So then their parents got involved because they were minors, and we had to get attorneys and lawyers and everything like that. And that was my first lesson in understanding an attorney that's for you and not just for a check.
Right. That's right.
And he didn't care. He just wanted to get paid. And so they got the better deal where 10 years, because this was 2016, 10 years, our basic agreement basically dissolves. I give them what was pretty much 20 grand up front, and it covers this, and I get a percentage every month for 10 years, which it's still not a loss because I made way more back over time, but I would have made it indefinite.
Right.
Because now I'm having in 2026 a big chunk of money drop off, because from fast forward from then to now, that company gives maybe about $4 or $5 grand a month residual.
Wow.
You know, and so in 2026, now I have in the back of my head, $4 or $5 grand residual finna just drop off the face of my income for good.
Yeah.
Residual, like, and some people get confused by that residual word. That means something that I did
long time ago. I'm not active with the company. I haven't talked to them in forever. I haven't, none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just going to be gone. Yeah.
And so in the long term, I'm like, damn. But that also lets me know that, you know, I was able to create that situation and do something.
The potential's there. Bro, you got a crazy story, bro.
Thank you.
I'm listening to your journey, bro. I'm still, you know what craziest thing about what you just said? And I don't know if the viewers caught this part, but this is the way my mind thinks, bro. You were in the mall, you're taking the fry baskets, you're just in survival mode, straight up. And a guy came up to you and he was like, opportunity. Here you go. I think that's the beautiful part about life and journey, is that it always starts. Again, I said this saying that I didn't make it up. I don't know who make it up, but sight sees to the corner, vision sees around the corner. Like, that dude saw something in you, bro. Maybe it was the scammer, maybe it was the pyramid person. I don't care. You were in the right place at the right time in an unpreferred season, but what's his name? James?
Yep.
But James. You feel me? And that's what I love about, like, everything you said had people, places, and things. You went to the Marines because your man was doing that. You know what I'm saying? So there was an attachment there. There was a connection there. You know what I'm saying? You got into the gaming because there was a kid over here with an idea. Another homeboy did it. Bro, it's all about people, Rich. It's all about people. So that's why I like, the most complicated thing that we'll ever do in life is maintain great relationships. And more difficult than that, be unified about something. You know what I'm saying? I think, and I was saying something about 2020, how it was the best, worst thing that ever happened to us, is because we became so unified, but segregated like never before.
Yeah.
And since then, I mean, think about it. I mean, right now, I don't know if you're following the news, but there's this resurgence, Black Wall Street, people trying to get reciprocity for that, still trying to go on and things like that. But I'm like, bro, you know how many Black Wall Streets are in me and in you and everybody else and brown people. And you know what I'm saying? Not just for us. Cause I don't do colorisms, right? I do humanitarian effort. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, there's things that need to be done for certain people, But again, I don't lean too heavy in any way in that type stuff, because I'm like, bro, we're humans. But you know how many businesses are in us? Like we started this all about talking about what do you do, bro? I do so many things, Rich.
Yep.
And it's by the grace of God that I do it, because I have no idea how I do what I do. But I do know this, is that I'm not afraid to get people around me that know more than I know at all times. Like I came here today to do this pod, but afterwards you and I are going to talk about your whole setup. I built podcast studio, but I'm like, yo, there's some stuff here I got to learn from bro. Because the last time I was here, I saw your board and you had systems, and I saw your diagram over there and the classes and stuff that you set up. I'm ready to learn. Yeah, I'm sure there's some stuff you can learn from me too. But at the same time, it's like, bro, we are an extraction system for each other. And relationships are everything, my guy. And every part of your journey, every part of my journey has a human involved, right? Some guy, some person, some moment, some angelic being in a moment that came and interceded on a moment where you're like trying to just steal something. You trying to eat and steal something so you can go sell it and flip something. And somebody says, hey, let me show you something better. Isn't that that's all of our story, bro?
Yep.
My pastor turned me around. He goes, don't ever let this guy feel alone. How I got all these friends, but I'm the loneliest guy in the room. I literally came from the club. I ain't gonna drop no names, but me and a bunch of NBA dudes were back in the day, it was called the Orpheum Gardens in Miami. That was the big club before Live and all that. I'm there. I sold about 15,000 worth of yayo. I'm at these mansions in South Beach. We're on Star Island turning up. I'm the host of all these things. And I'm the loneliest person in this place. Until a guy turned me around. You got a guy named James, right? So I got a guy named James too. The first guy I ever met with through my church was a dude from Pompano. I'm from Deerfield, he's from Pompano. And after that, the pastor turned me around and said all this stuff. He walked with me from that day to this day. It's funny how our stories parallel. To this day, he's still Uncle James. Most solid, consistent guy. Never asked me for anything, seen my increase, seen all the life changes, never asked me for anything. But if I call him right now, his phone ain't gonna ring twice. We never ate dinner together. You feel me? We eat at functions and weddings and stuff like that. I married I performed his daughter's wedding, did these things, but he's just Uncle James. But he's solid. He was the person that when I thought I was getting sold a bill of goods, came and said, hey bro, he don't say that to nobody. Like that's God. Everybody need that barometer, bro, of next level transition. Those things at the airport, what do they call? You step on them and you just walk and it just, whatever that thing's called. Yeah. Whatever that thing's called. Some people in life are simply meant to do that. But it's about the attitude, because some people, if you just know that you're the segue from somebody's transition from here to there, a lot of people in culture, this is where we got to be careful with culture. Culture tells you, no, you're not just a segue. No, you are it. You're him. You're her. Well, hold on. Am I really? Or am I just the person that God chooses to use to make sure that you go from A to B safely?
That right there. And that point, I've been waiting for somebody to say this on the podcast. Yes, that point right there is what I try to tell people who don't really understand what I do yet. And I tell them, have you ever met CJ Quinney? Or have you ever met Nax? And those are the people behind E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher.
Come on.
And E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher can charge $250,000 to go on stage and talk. I said, CJ Quinney and them don't make that, but they made his brand.
Right.
He will say, oh yeah, they made my brand. They were the reason I got paid this much to come on stage. They were the reason my YouTube is doing this and that. Because CJ spoke at Podcast Summit. And in meeting him and understanding that, like, not everybody wants the limelight. And people assume automatically, especially when we talk, they're like, yo, you could be out there so much more. And I said, but I'm not for everybody. And I need other people to understand that. I'm a man of true, authentic relationships. I go to events. If I can meet you at these events, cool. I have social media. If I meet you through social media, cool. But I'm not going to go out of my way to foster that relationship when it's not that authentic to me.
You know where I learned that from though? I'm gonna hit you again. Your listeners probably like, bro, this boy keep talking about Bible and Jesus, bro. It's in the book.
It is.
It's in the book, bro. I literally, and again, I'm a teacher. I taught Bible for 18 years, bro. There's a thing. I'm gonna give y'all some scripture. You 7-day, you know what I'm saying? So you there with it. But there's a dude named Paul who affects everybody's life that's living right now, right? But Paul's name wasn't always Paul. His name was Saul at one point, right? He was a dude that affected everybody's life right now because he was killing cats that believed in this Jesus character, right? So he's on his way to this place, and he has this divine encounter, much like you had with a James, much like I had with a on the road to Fayetteville, North Carolina, with this police officer that didn't lock me up, this female state trooper. Thank God for her. Shouts out to whoever she is. But he's on his way to persecute, to lock up, to sign bills and mandates, to kill people, to say, I believe in Jesus. And he has this divine encounter. Boom. From there, though, God sends a messenger to this dude named Ananias, right? Ananias is over here. He's just a faithful man doing his thing, just a good man. God says, I'm going to send Saul to you. I want him to come to your house, and I'll tell you what to do for him next. He goes, the dude who be killing people? The dude who be murdering religious people? He goes, yeah, he's coming to you. I bet. So Paul has this moment with God. He gets blinded. He go to Ananias' house, sat on his couch. Bible says that Ananias was led to pray for him. And when he prayed for him, as soon as he laid his hands on him, the scales from his eyes were removed. He was able to see again. Sight sees to the wall, vision sees around the wall. Changed his name. He became the person that wrote almost all of the New Testament Bible that affects everybody's life right now today. My point for saying that, bro, you never hear about Ananias other than this story. You never hear about him again. He was the thing at the airport. He was the segue. We're teaching heavily right now in every platform out there. Value add value, value add value. It's like a song. It's like some rapper need to value add, you know what I'm saying? And turn up and it'll go viral and global and all the above. Yeah. But real value add sometimes does not get the credibility, nor the recognition, nor the duality, right? Of being something that advances your personal life. Sometimes my success, Rich, is just about me getting in position like a James in a mall to meet a kid named Rich, to point him in the direction of a future that's more preferred in the route that God called him to live on.
Yep.
If you don't say James's name probably won't be known. But there's no Rich now without an impact or a divine encounter with a James. Does that make sense?
100%.
So few of us go, and you just mentioned Quincy, right? And E.T. and all these guys. Very few of us, because we're living in this culture that says, I got to be put on and then I'll help other people. That's not the way. If you look at the greatest leaders in history, they put people on. Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison because he was looking out for people over himself. So something has to be reversed in culture. And this is why 2020 sucked. And it was the best, worst thing that ever happened to us. Because now since 2020 and then social media coming alongside, where we would never be able to do this 5 to 10 years ago. But now who cares about big networks when we are a network, right?
Yep.
However, the idea is that everybody has to be larger than life now. Nobody wants to be the foundation. Everybody wants to be the ceiling.
Yep.
But try building something without a foundation to see how long it lasts.
Yep.
And there's the issue. That's what I'm saying. So I'm indebted and with gratitude to a James because I get to meet a Rich now. Who knew? Who knows? You don't know Bishop Rick Thomas, but you got to be indebted. If you think anything that I have to say is a value add to your life or our relationship or whatever we do beyond this moment is a value add, then you got to, not knowing him, but I can't do anything without you knowing who Bishop is because he's the guy to help shape my future. Is that, you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But everybody want to be the ceiling. Nobody willing to be the floor. But if you look at the greatest leader in history, which is, I believe, Jesus, I mean, the dopest one to still do it, right? What did he do? He became nothing so that those who are nothing could become something.
Yep.
Right? On whatever level. So therefore, the attitude of advancement will only be really, really felt with as it's compartmentalized or packaged in service. If I make it happen for you, Rich, God said he'll make it happen for me. Jesus says, you've done it to the least of these, you've done it to me. And I know your listeners are probably like, oh, this man, bro, there's no other way. You don't even got to say his name, but the principle still works. It still points back to him anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I just refuse not to say his name because I know I don't have a name if it's not for his name. And I get to do this with millionaires and freaking billionaires every day of my life in the same tone I'm talking to you in, the same tone I preach in church, the same tone I'm preaching in Angel Investors Network with net worth of 400 million last week. It doesn't matter to me because when you become less, he becomes greater. Nobody's willing to become less to become more. Everybody wants to be more and give less.
Have you seen the movie The Book of Clarence?
No.
It came out this year, earlier this year, and there's a bunch of church people that, I don't want to go see it because it's blasphemy. It's blasphemous.
Why? Because it says the book of?
Not even that. Like
there's a lot of
the
books
whole nature of it. Lakeith Stanfield.
Okay.
He plays Clarence, the main character, and the entire, I don't even want to give it away because it's a really good movie.
I bet.
But for the first part of the movie, he's a non-believer, 100,000%. And he just goes through the movie like that. Then life changes. And that's all I say.
Yeah.
Then life changes. And I tell people, are you sure you really tapped in with the Bible?
Right.
Because Moses, Saul, Paul, that's everybody that God ends up using to convey his message and his word. So you won't go see something because it advertises this, but you missed the message.
Yeah, it's all about the principle. Principles.
They look at the person delivering it. I said, but it's about the message.
Yeah. As long as it stays pure, as long as it stays true and don't deviate, I'm
what I'm
good,
saying?
whatever. Like, bro, Jesus was considered to be a lunatic, my boy. When he starts coming and saying, you can forgive sins. He's like, yeah, I am. I can forgive sins. Rise up, take up your mat and walk and go home. What? Who is he? It wasn't people who needed their sins forgiven that was tripping. It was the ones who thought they were righteous. They thought they were good all day. They thought they were solid. So my point, and not to deviate really going that deep and into that stuff, but my point is like, bro, you are who you are today because somebody is willing to serve you. Put themselves aside. And maybe they had a personal gain and motive and agenda, but nevertheless, you are who you're the sum total today of all the seeds that you've sown and others have sown into you. And you do not get up tomorrow without a sowing of a seed today.
Absolutely.
Straight up. You won't make it to tomorrow if you don't sow seed today. What's seed? Breath. If you don't release the breath that you have, you can't take the next breath in. You're going to die sitting right here in this chair. You feel me? And it's a law, bro. It's God. It's his way. It's his system. And I feel like when we do that on whatever level, I'm just fortunate. I get to do it beside the 1%ers of the world. You feel me? I get to do it beside the who's who that people idolize on TV. I get to make sure, hey, bro, forget about your money. How's your life? Are you good with Christ, bro? Like, are you good with God? Like, where you at? When the last time you prayed, bro? You know what I'm saying? I know you turn up. I know you do your club thing. I know your social media got you as, the most sexiest man on the planet. But are you good naked before the Lord? Because you don't care nothing about your accolades. It's he that gives you the power to get wealth, right? And walking you through that stuff. Because most people have giver's remorse. You ever been with rich people?
Yeah.
They feel, they have giver's remorse, bro. They go crazy. Because there's so many people at them. They have the biggest mistaken identity on the planet. Because imagine this, and we talked about this on a different time, but imagine since you've been 6 years old, you had on a helmet. So really nobody sees your face. They know your number and they know your jersey. And so you do that since you're 6 and now you're 28, 30, you in the league for 7, 8 years and you were considered to be a vet. And now you take off the helmet and now you're walking around. You had 30,000 people screaming your name 2 weeks ago and now nobody knows your name because your jersey ain't on no more. Who are you? The only people on the planet that can identify with that is pretty much like military personnel. You see what I'm saying? And my job is after you've done all of that, after you've been all that for all those people, after so many bookies have bet and won bids on your back, right? At the sacrifice of your body. Now you have this little thing called a nest egg to make you survive or put you in a position where your rest of your life will be dictated by. Who's there with you? Because everybody was there. 30,000 people were screaming your name, 60,000, depending on who you are yesterday. Your social media was popping. Your bank account was popping for 16 weeks in a season. You don't have problems. Every Tuesday, big bank. And then all of that come to a screeching halt. That's what God has put me in position to do now. Is be like, hey, listen, we're going to take care of the wealth end. But how about you? Are you good? How can I help you? And first thing we do to try to help them, I'm talking about my business now, is to serve them and say, who's not helping you. Who? It's always a who, Rich. Who's not helping you? Sometimes the who is your mindset of how you view yourself. The mirror don't lie. The mirror does not lie. You think you're that guy, you are that guy today, but who are you tomorrow? Because tomorrow that mirror won't lie to you either. And my job is to make sure that these guys, these athletes, these guys and girls are in a position where they understand who they are beyond their numbers, beyond their bank account, beyond their agents, beyond their fan base. And that's just, and these are athletes I'm talking about, but everybody goes through that. You get 200 more followers because you did a networking event, and you start thinking, I'm him. As opposed to, how can I serve these 200 more people that have come my way? What do I really have? How can I give them something to again add value to their life? But what if it doesn't reciprocate for me? What if it doesn't give me more notoriety or more introductions? Am I still able to give that? And we're talking about business now. So business has to reciprocate because we have to live. At the same time, I believe you have to be in a position where your motive, your motive operandi is to serve people and make sure that they're good. Because if that's not the motive, then when the business plateaus, you'll disappear, right? And I feel like there's a lot of people in culture right now. I'm very careful and leery who I engage with. I like everybody. I serve somebody, right? But I'm not called to everybody. There's few people, like you said earlier, we don't go outside that much. I'm outside every day. You're like, I don't go outside that much because everybody ain't gonna get me. But I believe who gets me is who's supposed to be with me. And that's just knowing who you are, bro. It's that healthy emotional identity. I feel like it keeps a lot of people from premature cemeteries. Yeah.
I feel like, and it's why I have the relationship with this person still. It's not what it was. Of course, it's not gonna be, but at the end of last year, I had maybe about like 4 or 5 exotics. And, just like you mentioned earlier,
right,
we were going half and us going half on it and whatnot. I started popping out with the cars, and we had the Urus, we had the AMG Benz, we had all of that stuff, the Tesla with the butterfly door and everything. And when I posted it on social media and everything, man, the DMs,
going crazy,
the people reaching out,
a lot of friends,
this and that, a lot of friends out of nowhere. Now, he got into a position where he had a 9-to-5 that gave him a lot more money, and he tried to join the entrepreneur world. And I said, hold on. I said, that's a different world. You're making like 250, almost 300,000 from a 9-to-5. I said, make sure you plan carefully, because you live a lifestyle that accommodates for that amount of money. And you're talking about starting your own business and quitting that hard cold turkey. I said, bro, hold on.
Is that culture though? Bro, isn't that what culture's telling you to do? So let's talk about that. I want to go in on that for a second, bro, because I did that. I did that, bro. I did that a year ago as of this month, June. I went hardcore. I mean, prayerfully with the wife and just in counsel and mentorship, man. And boy, when I tell you, a journey is I've always been good, right? God's always made provision for me. I ain't tripping. But boy, entrepreneurship is different. And I feel like so many people have been deceived to thinking that this journey of entrepreneurship is for everybody. It ain't. Some people just simply ain't cut from this entrepreneurial cloth. And I love David Shands too. And this is shouts out to Dave and Podcast Summit and all this. I learned a lot of stuff last night. But he said something a couple of days on his deal. He was telling some person, you need to not. You saw that one? Yeah. You need to not quit your job. Yeah. You need less time on your hands. I was like, yo, I wish somebody would have told me that X amount of time ago, because I was like, I want to do this. I looked at the end of my day, bro. And again, I'm shouts out to Miles Monroe, Dr. Miles. Don't start your day until you finish it on paper. And I'm so not a administrative kind of guy, bro. I keep beautiful people around me that keep my life on point and tell me what to do. I'm the kind of dude to tell everybody I meet with them at 11, and I got 15 people waiting to talk to me at 11. I'm like, dang, all right, bro. But my point is like, brother, everybody ain't cut out for this. And I'm telling you right now, everybody's gaslighting right now, entrepreneurship. Dog, everybody ain't cut out for this. It will cause you, I had no gray hairs, brother. until I started doing whatever. Now I got gray hairs in my beard. My wife like it, so I'm keeping it. Nevertheless, everybody is not cut out for this, bro. But culture's gaslighting one person's success. No, tell me we're gonna talk about business. You tell me I should start something. When I hear your journey, you know what was sexy to your journey? Is your trial. You see what I'm saying? I respect you more knowing that you were homeless. Not that you have to be homeless, because I don't believe in again, I ain't trying to ever preach a poverty story. Yeah. At the same time, I respect you more because you never forget where you came from. You can always get to where you're going, right? My bishop taught me that. If you never forget where you came from, you can always get to where you're going. But some people ain't come from nothing and you're trying to go to everything. Yep. Bro, you don't have the validation of just time on the earth, the experiential knowledge of how to sustain in an entrepreneurial world. You're a future welfare recipient in certain capacity, be it that your parents take care of you, you living on somebody's couch, and that's this journey. But we look at the Tyler Perrys and look at these people that's made it from even positions where you were. Like, bro, never trust a man without scars. Where's your scars, bro? Like when I'm partnering with you, I don't care what your pitch deck says. Right? Because I got a cat in the Philippines that can make one for anything. Yep. That boy can sell rice to an Asian. Yeah, he is good. You understand what I'm saying? At the same time, it's like, let me see, let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Show me who you are, right? And I'll tell you how much I'm gonna invest with you. Everybody ain't cut out for the entrepreneurship game. And I think few people are talking about being long-term. I think everybody has the ability, let me be clear, everybody has the ability to create passive income in certain capacities, right? And that's just taking something you already do well, making some small adjustments to it, tweak it, and then reproduce it for yourself. I love the term affiliate. I love these things, but I'm talking about quitting your job, aborting all insurance, pension, 401ks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody's preaching against that. I'm thinking to myself, y'all are preaching these people into cemeteries early from stress alone. 5 people I know personally have committed suicide in very recent years that had great lives, bro. They don't come from molested, drug addicted, all these backgrounds. It's freaking stress because they're trying to be something. Maybe they got inspired by somebody else's story. Maybe they got gassed up by some friends or something like that. I'm thinking to myself, bro, you better know, again, going back to what we talked about earlier, you better know the no's in your life so you can maximize on the yeses. Because I'm telling you, this thing, it's not for everybody.
It's not. It's definitely not. And to the relationship of what happened with the exotics is he found out. And he couldn't make his half of the payments. And I had to cover them. And I did it maybe 2 or 3 times, but we're talking like an additional 10 a month. You know, and I'm like, oh, I can't do this. Yeah. So I got my own life going on and hey, cool. Hey, you know, and I didn't want an issue with him to be a money thing. Right. And so I said, you know, we'll stop it here and I'll take the loss that I've already taken. Yeah. I said, but I'm not going to let it get worse.
And that's just wise. I think exit strategy, talking about business mindset, like if you build a business without an exit in mind, you're crazy.
Insane.
I never heard that until I started hanging around these guys who, you know, one of my guys who's really close to me started a business and sold it in 10 years, 180 million, started from scratch. I mean, just solved the problem, massive problem. We all benefited from him. He created a company called Suture Express, which is the butterfly stitches. Created that, put it together with a couple other partners. A couple years later, he sold junk for 180 million, got out of it. He never wanted to do that. That wasn't his calling. It was an idea. Yeah. Took care of his family, blessing so many people who did so many great things since. But exit strategy is a key for being an entrepreneur and a business owner.
The same way I tell people consistency is key, knowing when to let go is also key. There's been business models and stuff that I've gotten towards and started at and immediately nipped it in the butt, said, nope. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to cut it where it is. Yeah. I'm getting out. Yeah. Yeah, I lost a little bit, but it could have been way more, way worse, way more involved. Because there's always a way to fix something or a bounce back or whatever if you let yourself get involved enough. Yeah. But it doesn't have to get there. And that just been from experience in business. Yeah. My first business ever was 2010. This is 14 years later. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so what do you say to people? I'm gonna just put you on the spot now. What do you say to people? Because you got your, you successful in what you do. What do you say to people that are in that chaotic place where they're holding on because this is their bread and butter, this is their livelihood? Because everybody's saying, you know what I'm saying, you got to hold on. At the 11th hour, it can turn around. What do you say to somebody who's in a quote unquote failing business, failing relationship, right? Because relationships are business. They produce. They got ROIs, right? They take, they cost. What do you say to somebody? What does Rich say to somebody that's in that place where you got a failing business, or it's not checking out to be, good for people? How do you say, what would you say to them? Because you've been through it.
I feel like you know exactly what I would say.
I want you to tell them.
I say, why? That one statement, why? Why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Because that's going to be the defining reason on what I say next.
Yeah.
If your why is
what if the
big
why
enough,
is, all right, let's role play.
Okay.
I'm going through this. I've been doing this for 5 years. It's not working. I've second mortgaged my house. I've refinanced my cars. Blah, 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 blah. I'm down, $300,000. I only got $30,000 left in my name. This thing I got 3 months of retainers, residuals left over. What do I do, Rich?
Well, then I ask them, what are you scared of?
This is all I know.
Okay. What's on the other side of what you know?
Nothing.
You sure? You don't know that.
Oh, Pastor Rich, baby.
You sure you don't know that?
Yeah.
Because at the
real.
end of the day, it comes down to change only happens through extreme adversities. And that's why most people never undergo change. It takes somebody's house to burn down to understand I should have moved out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It takes somebody's car to break down to understand I should have upgraded last year. It takes somebody's life to get rearranged in some type of way for them to understand that I have to execute change on my own, not let life dictate change, because they have to understand God is a two-way street.
Right.
God will meet you where you are. And it's not only in the form of blessings.
Yeah.
He will take out of your life to put you in a better position.
I'll allow
and that adversity will hurt.
Yeah.
It is not here to make you feel comfortable all the time.
Yeah.
That's
I love what you just said. God will allow. So, me will meet you where you at. But I say it like this. It's best for us to meet God where he's at. Thank God he'll come to you. But it's better if you go to him.
100%.
If you do it his way first, you don't got to worry about him coming to you because he's with you.
100%.
With you. And it's just so many people, bro. Don't you know a lot of people that are just, I've tasted that a little bit. I've tasted going to the very end of all things. I'm like, yo, I don't know up from down, right from left right now. I don't know what I'm going to do. And sometimes what I've had to ask myself is, again, I baited you for that one because it is why. Why are you doing that? And obviously 9 times out of 10 in my experiences and people that I know, what I get back is, I'm afraid that there's nothing on the other side of this. Yeah. And it's like, bro, and that's where I talked about earlier, talk about running through the wall of fear. Whatever you fear the most, I believe it's a telltale sign from God, what you need to be pursuing the most. I just refuse. And when I was a quarterback, bro, when I played ball, I was scared to throw left. I so good throwing right. My coaches be like, I only want the first 12 passes of the game. You better not even look right. Throw left. And what happened was, what I didn't know that he knew is he knew the DB on this side, the cornerback on this side was a 5-star, and he knew that he was going to pick me off. But he knew once, because of who I am, if I understood that this boy got hops and I'm throwing everything on the floor. So my receivers, I got to tell them, hey, you got to get down. Everything's coming to the ground here because if we go in the air, he got you. You getting Moss going back for pick 6. We're not catching him. So we formulated, because my coach knew me, but he also knew my opponent. He told me, he's like, I want everything going left. Let's show him we're not afraid, because we throw right, he going to settle in. You're going to kill your receiver. He ain't going to play no more. And you're going to kill the whole right side of the field. So I need you to throw left. Let your enemy know you coming and you ain't afraid of him. We just going to figure out how to beat you. And I'm telling you right now, and that's what I experienced with a lot of people in business that hit these rock bottom places. They're like, yo, I don't know what to do. I'm at the end. Bro, sometimes, again, getting off the ship is your best saving grace. Like, get off. I'd like for you to get off when you're winning. Yeah. But if you miss that window when the things are beautiful, you're going to have to take this long ride. And that long ride sometimes sucks.
It's like the train. Hey, you missed your stop. You going to go the next 10 stops? Your stop was back there.
Yeah.
get off at the next stop.
I love this dude. I'm gonna quote this dude. This dude, Andy Stanley, he's a pastor out of Atlanta. Great business mindset guy. He says this: if you don't know why something's working when it's working, you won't know how to fix it when it's broken. The reason why you get to these broken places and I'm dying in this business is because you didn't understand how to take it. And this is where you come in and you're dope at this. I've been checking your stuff. Take it and multiply what's multiplying. It's a biblical concept. Jesus reproduced reproducers. Yeah. Hey, you guys want to eat? I got 5 loaves and 2 fish. Sit them down in groups of 50. I'm gonna give you the fish. You break it up. I'm gonna give it to my disciples. You give it to the people. He could have gave it to the people. There would have been nothing left. They would have killed it. But he gave it to the disciples, and somehow miraculously it multiplied. And the person who gave, they had 12 baskets overfilled. How does that happen? Organization, right? Discipline and trust. If you don't know why it's working when it's working, you won't know how to fix it when it's broken. Obviously, a lot of us strike gold, especially as us, black and brown people, when we get into business, because it's not our first lingo, language, or culture. That's what you and I are here to change, while empowering people and educating people and just doing the right thing by people and seeing in advance. When something's working, we don't take time to diagnose the success of it, right? And then now there's a day where you can create an ebook for everything. So if something did work and it worked, say luckily, you put that together in an ebook, you reproduce that, you sell that, and when it doesn't work for the next person, not a person like this, none of this stuff works. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, for me as a person who is I'm not very good at the administration portion, which is why I have an amazing people that work with me. I go, hey, this is our win. This is how we won. I'm voice noting it all day. I'm sending it to them. They're getting it articulated, typed out, put it in so we can multiply this thing. And a lot of us stumble upon success and it becomes short-lived. And then we call ourselves an entrepreneur. Bro, you need to take that money, do a jump start, go buy you some real estate. Don't worry about it. Fix it, live in it, but go back to work. Because that's not your play. And the first time when I stepped out, it really just did this. And I caught my first big L. I'm like, woo, okay, this is different. And I don't believe you really have a vision in entrepreneurship as a business guy until you're looking at some L's. I don't believe I don't preach the doctrine of failure and losing. I don't, all these guys, they can say what they want to say. If you don't lose, you won't learn. I don't preach that. I believe that when you are faced with the L's, you're in a crossroads in your life. Now I go back to, why did I start? I knew these were coming. They're in the journey, but did I prepare myself in my famine season or my good season for this famine season? Can I outlast the storm? Can I, it's like the dog barking at the moon, right? The dog barks. Eventually the dog dies, but the moon keeps shining. Am I the moon or am I the dog? Yeah. I'm barking like, look, I'm bad. Boom, do. Yeah, you balling. But there's a rainy season. The Bible says it rains on the just and the unjust alike. Oh yeah. As long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest. There's cold in winter, summer and spring. You've been to the store lately? We're shooting this in the middle of summer. Everything, all winter clothes, fresh leather jackets, boom, on sale now. This is the time where you prepare. Yeah. Prepare for winter now. If you buy swimsuits in July in Florida, you got got. Yeah. I buy swimsuits in December. Yeah. Right? So it's just the same thing in business, bro. It's like how to prepare for those quote unquote famine seasons in business. Every one of us go through that. How to prepare for that. Are you ready? Can you endure that?
And what I end up teaching people is, I don't even teach them preparation, to be honest with you. What I end up teaching them is mindset triumphs motivation. Facts. And they have to understand that I'm not here to motivate you. I said, hey, do you want me to motivate you? You want me to teach you mindset? Yeah. And they're like, well, you could talk to me nicer a little bit. I said, life's not going to talk to you nice. I said, I don't disrespect you or your character. Yeah. I said, but I'm real with you. And I said, the only reason it's not nice to you is because you don't like when real things are said to you. Right. I said, that's not something that I can help. Yeah. I'm being honest with you. Do you want me to be honest with you or do you want me to coddle you? I said, because I'll do either one. You pay me. Right. Which what you want.
No one, they're not going to produce the same results.
Though. Exactly. And I've had people that do that. And I tell people, I will meet you where you want me to meet you. I said, I'm not here to drill you down. I'm not here to constantly hit you up because that's what this person thought. Like, oh, you got the coaching and I forgot some things and you never followed up with me. That's my job.
I follow up with you.
I said, my job is to follow up with you.
Yeah. Your coach call you and tell you to wake up and go work out?
I said, you're paying me.
Yeah. All right.
I said, I gave you the basis and I treated you as a grown adult to go do what the basis was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I had to check up on you. Hey, did you do that thing? You wanted this.
Yeah.
I didn't go out to you and say, hey, you came to me. Oh, I'm interested in this, blah, blah. You paid me.
Yeah.
Why am I chasing you for paying me? I said, that's not how this works.
You learned that mindset in the military or parentally?
I learned it in when I was in the streets.
Yeah.
If I wanted to go do something, I had to go do it. I had to go apply for certain stuff because there was a point where I did get 2 jobs. I got 3 jobs. I got Victoria's Secret, I got Walmart, and I got GameStop. And I operated in those jobs, but they were all seasonal.
Yeah.
And so season's up. Oh, cool. Hey, we don't have the overhead to go for you. Walmart did, but that's when I had started getting ready for the military. Right. And so I was like, yeah, it's just performing comes from wanting to actually do something.
Right.
I can understand that this is not what I want to do forever, but if I'm going to do it right now, I'm giving it everything that I got. That's it. And that's what I did in the military. That's what I did before the military. When I was in Amway, I was putting out. Oh, I got told no 500 times, 1,000 times. Yeah. Damn.
Amway's like the military. I did Amway conferences back in 2000.
You know what I'm saying?
Them boys, right?
I would make it a goal to try and hit 1,500 no's. Oh, I hit 1,000. Can I get 500 more? Can I do this? And little did I even know that set me up for 2017, 2018. The second person of transition that I met out here was Steve Pierre.
Wow. Steve
Pierre put me in ACN. In ACN, from all the knowledge that I had from prior, I hit ETL in 90 days. That's a 5-figure bonus check. It's a 5-figure bonus check. Yeah. As I tell people, they're like, yo, you came up the rank super fast. Went on Dream Weekend stage. I got me in another suit that I bought now. You know what I'm saying? Talking about this and that with this team. Added people to my team. Branched out, did this and that. Made 5 figures in it in what about 6 months, 7 months, and then quit. And they were like, what?
Why would you quit?
Why would you quit? I said, oh, this is just, I wanted to make sure that I could do it.
Yeah.
I did it in the past, and Amway, I ain't make no money in Amway.
Yeah.
I got a lot of no's.
Yeah.
I read a lot of books. It molded me for what I need to become. But when the opportunity presented itself in a different way, I did execute.
You had that grind.
And I executed very well. And then I said, if I could do it here, I'm not going to waste my time knowing when to quit. This is me after making 5 figures from this shit.
Yeah.
In not even a year. Knowing when to quit, I said, cool. Hey, I met Dan in school. I said, yo, you have a camera? Let's start a production company.
That's it.
He was like, you ever started a production company? I was like, I don't even have a camera, bro.
That's how I was going to ask you next, because I'm interviewing you on your show, right? How did you get into production? Like, what made you go podcasting and things like that? What made this attractive?
What made me go podcasting? So that's a twofold question, because podcasting came after, but production was what I met Dan in college. And so I went for a double major. I went for a super arts degree at first because I didn't want to deal with anything specific. I wanted easy classes, and I was like, photography and acting and all of that. I said, hey, that's light, and I'll have to do the core, math or whatever. But in one of those core things, I had a psychology class, and I was like, oh, she making me think in ways I ain't never thought before. And so that's when I went back to them, and I was like, hey, I want this to be a major, and can I have this as a minor? And it was like, yeah, you can start pushing in that route. And so I said, all right, cool. So I started taking psychology, and then I started doing arts at the same time. And I had Dan in one of my classes, and I'm just listening to them talk. I started doing some acting stuff, and I ended up on a Rick Ross music video. Rick Ross was one of the local artists, TX, by the way. And I'm in his music video. And there's this guy named Dre Films there. Dre Films is one of the main people for Rick Ross for years, and he has a heavy footprint in the game. And I'm like, yo, if you don't mind me asking, how much y'all getting paid for this? Because there's about 5, 6 of them chilling. It's a hot day for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an extra on set pretty much, running around on this damn basketball court. We had to reshoot this basketball scene like 40 times.
Yeah.
And it ends up in like a basketball scuffle. Somebody gets shot, whatever. And we had to keep redoing it, different angles, different shot sequence. Person had to make the shot or miss the shot in some type of way, all type of stuff. And I only get paid $250 for that.
Mm.
And I'm like, yo, how much y'all getting paid? Because y'all seem real chill right now.
Right,
I'm waiting for this to end.
Yeah.
And y'all like, hey, it is what it is. And he's like, oh, this is like 40,000. I said, what?
40 stacks.
You making what? I'm making 250. I said, oh no.
That math ain't mathing.
It ain't mathing.
Yeah,
It didn't math
me?
at all. So I said, okay, cool. I got a video with him. I said, yo, this is Dre Films. You know, they doing it big out here, whatever, blah, blah. He shouted me out and I put it in the cut. I said, because I know I'm finna be on the other side of the camera now. And so that was actually one of my biggest pieces of leverage to getting towards some of the bigger stuff we had. And so with Dan had a Sony already. And he was like, yeah, I don't really use it like that or anything like that. I said, cool, I don't have a camera, but I want us to get into some production stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because I just finished running around on set. And this man told me he made this and this from this.
Yeah.
I said, we can do that shit.
Yeah.
I said, bro, we can do that.
I love it.
And he was like, you sure? And Dan's car had just broke down in the school parking lot and he didn't even have enough money to tow it. And I looked at him. I said, yo, I don't know you like that, but I can tell you a good dude. I said, the only thing that I could ask, and it's up to you completely, is just trust me. And I'll make sure you never have that situation again. That was 2018.
That's what's up.
And fast forward, yeah, Dan is full-time ROV. You know, Dan is full-time here. Dan has never had that issue again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the best that I can do is deliver on that promise towards Dan and be like, yo, you looked out for us when we needed it. We used this camera to leverage the stuff. Then I got a camera. Then I started learning how to use it. Then that 2 cameras turned into 4. Then we got some Reds. Then we got some Black Magics. Then we got some other stuff. Then we got the Aperture 300s. Then we got the 600s. Then we got the V mounts. We got all the stuff, the fancy stuff with it. And then after that came the Hard Rock Stadium, Bacardi, Denny's. We got a voiceover from Morgan Freeman. We got Rolling Loud. We got South by Southwest. And I always wanted to make sure that we're hitting community because that's what it's all about to me.
Yeah.
It's never just finances. And so we got 100 Black Men of America, 100 Black Kids of America, National Black Farmers Association, John Boyd going against the world for Black farmers and reparations, you know, going all of this stuff. The documentary of Opalaka, that stuff getting overturned and turned into a gentrified city. You know, I started doing a documentary for Seneca Village in New York, Central Park built on top. You know, all of that type of stuff, making sure that we still had access and reach to the community and we just weren't another production company because I saw how the media was operating. And so in me going into media in general, I always wanted to have a platform where we can keep conversation alive, not the same, but alive. Because I tell people history is history. And we still need to change history.
Facts.
We don't need to be another Martin Luther King. We don't need to be another Malcolm X. You don't need to be all of that. We need to understand what they did and how we do it in our day and age.
They never lived in 2024.
You know what I'm saying? And how we do it in our day and age. And I said, having media access to do that, because if you go look Black Panthers up right now, the movie's going to pop up.
Right.
Not the Black Panther Party.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so this is how we keep that SEO alive, understanding what SEO is first, understanding the conversations that we have here and putting it back out there, information that people can, oh, wait, well, what are they talking about? I thought it was only a fictional character. I thought it, you know what I'm saying? All of this stuff. And so that's what led me to podcasting, because podcasting was, I had recorded it for people, saw people doing it. And I don't even remember the situation that it was. It was before Brendan, but they said the amount of money that you can make from here pretty much. And I said, okay, we have some Sonys that just lay around, you know, whatever, sit here and whatnot. And I said, if I can leverage somebody else's audience at the same time as leveraging my audience,
why not?
Here we go. Sense. But taking it a step further than that, and I don't know of any other podcasts that are really doing it in this way, is I said, I want to make a network, a podcast network. So Attractive Mindset is really Attractive Mindset Network. I want you to watch our podcast on Wednesday is when we drop. But then Thursday, you might have Ignite the Culture podcast.
Yeah. Friday,
you might have, you know, I'm an Athlete podcast. Saturday, you might have this and that. I want it to be like an HBO.
Dope.
But I want it to be educational for our community the same way.
Yeah.
And so I want that to be through the means of YouTube at first. But I have other people that rent out this studio that do their podcast. Change Tomorrow Today is the name of one of the podcasts. And they're speaking to the youth. They're like, yo, this is where we messed up in our age because they're all older.
Right.
And this is how you change tomorrow today. You know, and so it's all people in podcasts that align with my stuff. I talk Gray, Wayne, he shoots his stuff here. He just shot it last night. You know, I talk Gray. He talks about the topics that people don't necessarily want to get into.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's dope. I met him at podcast. I'm last year too.
And so, you know, having these ideas of this stuff is why I started it. And, you know, last year was our first year and we hit 6 figures with it. But the longevity of doing it, if I'm going to get into something, I'm going to do it. I don't consider myself a podcaster, but for the goal of what I want to do, my goal is to inform. You know, during that same time of George Floyd and Trayvon Martin and all of them, you had some of our people that want to go for politics. You have some of our people that want to riot. You have some people that want to go to social media, post things about it. You have some people that will do nothing about it. And you have people like me that create situations. Okay, cool. Those other methods don't work for me, but I'm good at creating stuff. So I'm going to create a company to employ Black.
Whatever.
Yeah. I'm going to employ our community. I have 54 people in ROV right now. In Attractive Mindset, I have about 5 people. And I'm like, yo, I would rather build something that our community can use and reach out with than to talk about it on social media or riot in the streets or run for politics. I don't care about politics, but this is real world change. If they're constantly subjected, you know, and going to school for psychology for the little time that I did, you know, I just had a psychologist on the other day and I'm a damn sure clip what she said.
Yeah.
You know, she has she has 2 masters in psychology. She has a practice right here in this building. And she said, you taught me things about psychology that I didn't even know. And I have 2 master's degrees.
Wow.
I'm going to clip the shit out of that.
You got to.
Because psychology from experience is different from psychology on paper.
Yeah.
And I've lived a long life.
Yeah.
And I've gone through a lot of things and I still study the realm of psychology. And so when I mention names to some of my mentees, like, you know, Colin Coggins or William James, the father of psychology, or Carl Jung or Daniel Simons or Christopher Chabris, you know, things like that, going down the spectrum, Elizabeth Loftus, you know, all these psychoanalytics, you know, psychotherapists, you know, whatever comes after it. We don't know about these things and people yet want to get into business. And I'm like, you have to understand that a lot of these people paved the way for business because if you look at anybody who's big in business, Oprah, you know, Bill Gates, whatever, they all had mentors. They had coaches.
Facts.
And even if you look at one of the biggest podcasts in the world right now, Diary of a CEO, that's Stephen Bartlett in the UK. He has about 6.5 million followers on YouTube right now. And he actually beats Joe Rogan podcast in a lot of different ways.
Really?
Yeah. In a lot of different ways. Joe Rogan's is the biggest in the United States.
Right.
But he's not bigger than Stephen Bartlett's. And he has 3 psychologists on his team.
Wow. Because they're getting the mindset behind it. So you understand.
They're getting the
why.
experimentations. Yeah. They're getting the whys. They're getting the breakdowns. Why do people like this thumbnail? Why do people like this stuff? Why do people click this? Why do people have that? And so when I started to approach business from a more mindset perspective and really start to branch out for there, every single year, by God's grace, we've been able to make more money, but that's never been my mission. My mission has been to grow.
Yeah.
As every time I try to grow my team, I by reciprocation make more money, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
You know, but money's not my mission. My mission is to reach as much people as possible, and podcasting became a means to do that.
That's what's up, bro. I love it. We've been just getting linking up. And again, we met like a year ago, almost officially, but then linking up, man. And I just really been scrolling through and just looking at your stuff, bro. Let me ask you a crazy question too. Why am I interviewing on you on your show? Who, and don't be scared. All right. Don't be scared. Who has been your dopest guest that you've ever had the chance to sit and probably where I'm sitting at?
My dopest guest.
Yeah. It could be intriguing. It could be interesting content. It could be whatever. Like who that you've already done now. Like we'll do wish list later.
My dopest guest so far. Oh man, and it can only be one.
I just need one. I'll give you a guy and I'll give you a girl.
Okay.
One that you left, you were like, I mean, you can't say me. I know you want to say me, but that's a little bit much to say me. I'm sitting right here.
Past guests that have been going crazy, that went super crazy.
Not views, but personal impact
personal
for you.
impact. Yeah. That went super crazy for me where I'm like, wow. I can't even put it on one.
Really?
Yeah, because the way I do my podcast is I don't do any prior research, and we barely even talk about business.
Yeah.
But I get to know the individual across from me.
Right.
And that's what I want my audience to see, because they can go to their social media if they want to see their business.
They can get the Googleables.
They can get the, Google if it's the person's doing business properly. You know what I'm saying? But I want them to see the other side of that human being to understand.
You're gonna be politically, psychologically correct. I see what you're doing there.
Not even.
Nah, nigga. I need that heat. All right. So let me ask you this. Give your audience on your show that I'm narrating. I'm not deep on your show. Give us one moment though. There was something that was said, something that happened, and you were like, I need a timeout. Like I need a digestible moment. Like that was, it could be like, there is a moment, bro. Y'all talk about this. You and Dan, the gang, y'all got to talk about this moment. Remember when. I need a remember when moment that happened on your show. You only got to tell us the name. Just give me a remember when.
It would have to be Lito's episode.
Okay.
And so Lito, he has one of the biggest digital platforms right now on social media. He sat across from me, and the level of conviction in his voice, passion in his voice, and trust in the process. If trust in God and trust in the process was a person, it'd be Lito. Because he stood across from me, didn't even blink when he spoke these words. And he said, I'm going to be at the BET Awards. He said, my artists that I'm getting to perform on my platform, they're going to get there. Word. He said, that's the promise that I made to them, that I was going to make one of the biggest platforms ever. And he's like, this is 10 years in the making. He said, we just started popping at the beginning of this year. He said, I shit you not, February, we had maybe 1,000 subscribers. He said, we have 100,000 literally 10 days later. That's what's up. He said that overnight, but that really wasn't overnight because we've been doing it for so long. But he said, now I'm taking full advantage of that. I'm taking full, momentum on that. And the level of conviction he had it with to tell his story. And he was like, my mom gave up what she wanted to do because she had me. And so not only am I living my dream, I'm living my dream because she couldn't live hers. And he's like, she's the one who still instilled this mindset in me to be the greatest person that I could be possible. Word. Because when she was doing her thing, she was the greatest thing, possible. And then she stopped to have me when she could have aborted me. And so it's only right that I carry on that mission. And, to see him even going crazy right now, still, promoted by these big pages authentically, not pitching to them to pay them for the spots like World Star or whatever, stuff like that. Like he's authentically on them, on these blog posts, on TikTok, YouTube. He's like, bro, I'm paying my rent off YouTube right now. I'm doing all of this off YouTube right now. He was like, I didn't even have a pot to piss in not too long ago. He's like, but life did change. And he said, and we still giving back to the community. That's on top of that. We're creating a space where these kids can come and be kids in there, and we can have a battle rap environment without the guns, without the extra stuff. They can real time beef in their battle rap, and then right after we eat and smoke good. And he's like, and that's the community that I want to build. And so to me, that connection and seeing that real like passion just drive and hit home. Yeah. That was one of my big moments.
That's what's up. All right, another question. He's like, why are you interviewing Rich? I gotta know, because here's the thing. Because here's what we were talking about, the mission of success, right? Everybody shows you the penthouse, but nobody shows you that pathway, right? And so I'm asking you practical questions, like for somebody who's just starting, because I build podcast studios. I built 4. They're dope. We'll view one. I'll bring you up to mine later. For somebody who wants inspiring persons, just like, man, yo, I got a Sony. My friend got a Sony. You know what I'm saying? I got 250. I want to do this. Like, I feel like I got something to offer to this space. What would be like your singular advice? I know you can give a lot, but singular focus, like through your experience of sitting in this chair as the interviewer, to how you got your guests, what you're part of now, things we just talked about off script, the complications when you bring all that together and somebody's saying, hey man, I don't really have nothing but an idea and a Sony, not the technical part, but what would be your advice to these people, this person?
Who are you serving?
Hone in.
Yeah, who are you serving? You know, what good will your content do for the universe? You know, I'm not an advocate of everybody needs a podcast. I'm not an advocate of everybody needs to tell their story. If you're good at making money and you don't have substance behind it, just make your money.
Yeah.
Don't get on a mic and talk about it.
Right.
Don't share your stuff. Share things that people can relate to. You know, share things that people can attest to. People want to understand that you're way more like them than not. Mm-hmm. You know, some people might get motivated, and I use that word motivated because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
By the amount of money that you make and by the likes that you get on social media, by all of this stuff, but it evaporates. You have no real connection or substance to that individual.
Yeah.
And so, you know, even for every single subscriber that I get on this podcast and everything like that, the people, some of the messages, and I'll show you a couple of them. These are heartfelt messages that I get back, emails where they're like, bro, I don't know how your podcast is not bigger because I've been going through this in my life and you just helped me with talking to this person I've never even heard about doing this and that. And so I'm trying to bring back humanity in a world full of digital deluge and social media.
That's good.
Where it's like, hey, everyday people that you could walk by are out here really winning. It doesn't matter if they got 10K followers on Instagram, if they got 50,000, 1 million, whatever, you know, 100,000 likes, all of that stuff. That person across from you is still emulating a level of success. And I bring 9 to 5 people on here and I'm like, yo,
I noticed that about your channel.
Up.
I like that.
You can have success in a 9 to 5. Success is not entrepreneurship. Listen, because there's a lot of failing entrepreneurs and we have to understand that success is not also just money. I have people that come in here that don't have a lot of money, but they're beaming, happy. You could tell from their aura sitting in that seat, like they love life.
Yeah.
And I want people to understand that success comes in many different facets. And so it's not tied down to a title. It's not tied down to a specific job. I've had 10, 20 real estate people come on here and all tell different stories and might probably do the same type of real estate.
Yeah.
Somebody gets a different message from it every single time because every single human being has a different story and has a level of where they got to in their life.
Word. I love it. And I love that your channel does emulate what you just spoke about because it's diverse, bro. You got everybody on that joint. And I love that you ain't scared to do 9 to 5s. Me working with the athletes, every time an athlete, you know, when you see those big measures of success, you see the pivots, you see the all up in smoke, all the smoke. You see all these big, huge athletes that go post-career podcasters and stuff like that. Everybody want to start because here's the deal. I don't know about your Rolodex and your phone, your contact list, but mine looks a little bit different now than it looked 5 years ago. So theirs looks crazy. Like, yo, bro, come jump on a pod with me. But what happened to that 9 to 5 person? You know what I'm saying? Again, that 9 to 5 person may not have that Googleable experience, but their success is crazy because they are not in lights. So I love that your platform does that. And you guys you, Brendan, I don't even know, I never met Brendan in person, but we communicated on the phone, but I checked out his stuff through you, got connected. And I'm like, yo, I love the vibe that y'all got going on. You feel me? And how y'all doing it. It's not just what y'all doing. It's like how you doing it, how you coming about it, creating this network. And that's why I ask you those questions about, like, you know, favorite guest, favorite bang moment, and then how to get it started. Because a lot of people don't have the how-to, and if they have the how-to, it's built off the hype of somebody else's last success, which probably ain't even popping right now.
Exactly.
To be honest with you, if it wasn't documented and well system, you know, the system laid out, it probably is not going to reproduce itself for you as it did for that guy. Because there's a lot of things that the commonalities of success is like timing, personnel, you know, all these beautiful things that we don't talk about. So I love that. And I love that you said earlier when you were speaking about mentorship, bro, it's like everybody needs somebody to help them wayfind. You know what I'm saying? Everybody needs somebody to speak to see value when you feel valueless. You know what I'm saying? And so I would add to what you just said by like, yo, you trying to do this entrepreneurial life, trying to do this podcast, this media space thing, man, get a mentor.
Gotcha.
And there's a ton of them out there. There's a ton of masterminds, master, all this stuff. But get somebody that let's be clear, like you were just saying. I love that you said it. But I ain't your friend. I'm not gonna tell you everything. You want me to tell you that you're great and make you feel fuzzy and you're good with the Cheetos on your chest? Yeah, pay me extra. I'm gonna tell you stupid stuff. Your friends do that. I'm not your friend, bro. I'm here and I'm strictly vested in who you are as a person, who you're becoming as a person, and why you're doing what you're doing. That's simply it. And mentors are not your friends. They care about your future, not your feelings. And
true mentors really care for partnership.
Facts.
I just posted something on my story the other day, and because it's Juneteenth, I'm gonna probably bring it out the archive and post it again. But it was somebody hit me up like 3 days ago, and he was like, "Yo, what's up? I'm really looking for an extra way to make $3,000 to $5,000 a month. Do you have any ideas?" And I told him, I said, "Nah, bro, I don't have no ideas." I said, because when people come to me, I want them to have their own idea, and then I help them scale and stabilize that.
Most people would have been like,
"Oh yeah, let's
give me $3,000 and I'll tell you what to do."
You know what I'm saying?
But then when it doesn't go right, then it's like, bro, I paid Rich $3,000. You know what I'm saying? He gave me this flop.
You know what I'm saying?
So you and I have a similarity. Like,
yes.
Again, when people say, Reese, what do you do? I'm like, hey, let's flip that. What do you do? Like,
Facts.
Tell me about yourself.
Exactly.
Because you want to do digital media. I got $100,000 studio. You want to produce something big. You mentioned Rolling Loud and all those boys. I got $2 million in LED walls, right? You want to build some real estate. You want to build something somewhere. I got a dope commercial real estate person that works with me that she crushes it on every level. Like, what do you want to do? You want to do Fluber? You want to buy private jets? We got that too. You want Sprinter vans? I got a business for that. So it's like, I don't even like leading like that. I'm like, yo, what do you need? And I feel like when people don't have that focus, bro, we can go all over the place. But again, man, we can talk for days, bro.
Absolutely.
And I ain't tired, bro. I don't get tired.
We definitely could, but this was a great pod, and to even what you said about having a favorite one, I genuinely, if any podcast released, was a good pod for me, because I have podcasts that I've shot over 10 that never came out.
Yeah.
And I told that person, I just don't care for it.
Yeah.
And that relationship might have been severed a little bit, but that's the type of person that I am. Right. I'm okay with that. Like, yo, cool. If you paid for it, you got your money back. Sorry for wasting your time. Whatever. But I didn't feel like
fit your brand.
Yeah, I just don't want to put it out.
All right, well, I'm gonna pay you because I want this one to go out. No, I was just playing. I hope I'm not one of them, dog.
Nah. This podcast was a great podcast, and
appreciate
just
it.
Learning about you, learning about your process. It's always refreshing to hear somebody with similarities that we kind of have, and understand the significance that you play on multiple different industries.
Facts.
The mindset that you have behind it. You can tell you have that.
Yeah.
Focused mindset behind it, and you've always had a focused mindset, and understanding where you are now is where you may or may not be 10 years from now. You might be doing something completely different. And that's why I tell people, like, I'm not stuck to podcasting.
No.
I just started this last year. I said, but even with ROV, I've never I didn't grow up wanting to be in film. I understood what it did, what it made. And I said, okay, cool. I'm going to create this company. Now, will I ever sell that company? No. Because I have an emotional tie to the company and this company as well. Will I go into M&A and get some other companies and sell them off? Absolutely.
Got to.
But for these are part of my personal mission. And so I'm willing to take more L's in them. I'm willing to take more learning curves in it. I'm willing to do whatever I got to do to get it to the next level. But these are something that I want to give to generations beyond myself.
Yeah, I got it. And that's the key. We can jump right. We can go back into that. But I think it's beautiful and it's masterful of you as the type of dude that I'm learning who you are, is like that have that mindset. You know what I'm saying? Because the gentleman I was talking about with the $240 million exit, he's like, yeah, I exit because that 240 was an evenly distributed number that I wanted to leave my kids as their inheritance. It had nothing to do with me. He's like, I just worked the last 11 months of my life just for my kids and their business ventures. I wanted to fund that futuristically. So I'm like, yo, just the fact that you said this my birth child right here. This is my, it wasn't a passion project only. It was like, I'm giving this away to my jits.
Yeah.
It's going to be a platform extended for them to walk on. A lot of things, you know, again, just drop one of my things. My pastor says all the time, it's like, my ceiling will become your floors. Like, I got to give you something to stand on. And unfortunately, you know, you and I didn't start with those things to stand on, right? We didn't have floors. We had to create them. So now they're ceilings for our kids, for who we mentor, for who we empower, the gentlemen that's around us, the ladies and gentlemen that we get to extend our hands towards, right? You know, again, that 300 million it's miraculous. It's gotta be. And it's so dope because it's so from my hands right now, it's so unattainable. But for my vision, it's a portion of. You feel me?
Absolutely.
So, and that's how we do it. So I appreciate you just continue to reach how you reach, man, and just even being an open vessel, willing vessel to you know what I'm saying, to keep extending, bro. I very rarely meet a dude who's as active like myself, right? That a lot of people, a lot of footprints, but a lot of people still don't know you like that. But who knows you is the people that need to know you. And I'm telling you right now, and I just kind of release this over you, dog, is like the rooms that your name is being mentioned in, you haven't stepped in yet, right? Vice versa. It's coming to you, and just keep grinding, man. And I would say to you, bro, as an inspiration, like, stay pure. Truth knows truth, real knows real, pure knows pure, bro. And I feel like while you're doing this, it's super pure. And, you know, I ain't even gonna say like your numbers might not do. I don't care what your number does, and I don't think you care either. But the impact of what you're doing will go way beyond what's, you know, the analytics, and that's a part of business, you know. But the analytics won't show the impact per se on this side. But I vibe with you, bro. And there's a lot of people. I mean, I do a lot of thumbing, my boy. I gotta do it not for myself, for my kids, but for my guys. Make sure that everything's copacetic. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like you're that dope connection, and you got something going, bro. And like I said, like I'm just happy to be on the pod, my boy.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. Yo, Reese, this was fire. You know, I appreciate you just taking the time, coming on here and having that story with us. You know, if people wanted to tap in with you, learn more about you, follow you, keep up with everything that you got going on, where could they do that at?
Yo, hit me up at reesejackson.com. I'm on Instagram at Reese Jackson. I'm dropping new podcasts right now. The next one I'm doing is called Building Bridges Podcast. We're crossing over from here to there. Here's where you start, there's where you end. And so we're just going to take that journey with people, more so like what we talked about today. So yeah, reesejackson.com, Building Bridges Podcast on YouTube. Hit me up on IG, all the social media, just RESE, not Reese's Pieces, but RESE Jackson. And that's me, man. I'm here.
Nah, most def. Appreciate you, man. Y'all already know this is another amazing episode of Attractive Mindset, and today's guest is nothing short of extraordinary. And just make sure you like and share this with some subscribers, some friends, your followers, whoever you want to do, because the messages that we talk about in these are real life scenarios. This isn't made up. This isn't scripted. I didn't go through his page, and I don't do it on purpose. If y'all watch episodes, you know that this is how it goes all the time, because we like to have authentic connections with people, get them to tell you real life scenarios, real life situations. And so if you've ever dealt with it, if you're dealing with this type of stuff now, reach out. I'm sure Reese will have that conversation with you, and you know I'll have that conversation with you. Okay. And so reach out. You're never alone. Even though we like to think we're alone, there's other people out there that understand that, hey, this person needs my help, or I need to be with this person. And so like it, share it, subscribe. And this is your host, Mastermind Rich. And as we always say, we look good, we live good. Life is good. Talk to us. We talk back, and we out.